guys. Hello, Blue Merinos. It's Keleas here. I'm pulling up your comments. Welcome. Tonight we are hyping up all the excitement about the Fall Boho workshop that's coming up. So if you haven't heard about it yet, it is this Thursday. And what's going to happen is we are going to do Boho inspired fall projects. If you don't know what Boho is, it's a trend that it's really trending in the wedding industry. And what it is people are using natural elements. And so we're trying to incorporate that into our design. Even though our silk flower designs are all artificial products, they're made to look really real. So that is the exciting thing we are doing this coming Thursday. So if you want to join us, just let us know. The links are in the bio and over here on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can ask for the link in the comments. We'll be happy to get it for you. All right, who's ready to create some fun tonight? Now, we just finished up in design school. This project is what we're making in the Boho workshop. It's a floating wreath design. It's something totally different and new. And that is our lead project. But tonight in design school, we made a Boho-inspired floral design that is all gorgeous. Sunflowers, pumpkins. We mixed different textures. It was just so much fun. So one of the things I like to do is I like to have collections when I'm creating and selling, so my pieces coordinate together. Whether I'm selling on my Etsy page, my personal website, or I'm selling in person at the shop here in Houston. So just depending on all of that, tonight we're going to make a pocket that is going to coordinate. So this is a really fun container. We'll have a supply list for you when we're all done. It's got the galvanized look, but it's got this bit of kind of a patina on the edge. It's going to let us pull in some of those natural colors that are coming out of the board in the back. So we're going to use that whole combination to achieve the look we want to get. So that's what we're going to be doing. The first thing I'm going to do is put some floral foam in there. But while you're coming on, say hello. I'm just going to use one big block of floral foam and glue that right in. Really easy. It's wood, so generally floral foam and hot glue work good enough going on wood in a container because I don't have to worry about it kind of flying off. So we're going to do that first, and we'll get that part set up going. I got my little glue pot here, but I'll make it work. Give it a dip, and then I'll just scrape it off. I don't need too much extra. And let's just tuck that right in. I'm going to push it to the back wall of the container. And I did tell design school students that I was getting this container so that they would have a heads up. Hello there, good to see you guys over on TikTok, and I'm so glad you guys are coming on now on Facebook. Yay, hi Judy! Good to see you tonight. So I just put that in there just like that, y'all. We don't need to fill that all up. We don't need to fill that. Yes, you're not going to use spray foam on this. It's going to explode out of every crack, so just put a little bit of block right in the back. Hey, good evening. Good to see you, Tammy. All right, let's put this in. You might want to let it set up for just a second so it doesn't slide down too much. And then up here where I can see that glue, I'm going to cover it with moss. So we're going to put that in. If you are coming to the workshop on Thursday, can you let us know in the comments so we know who all is going to be there? Because, you know, we're going to have so much fun. Hi, Diane. Hi, Cindy. I know you guys are going to be there. Let's pull up our greenery tonight, and we're going to try to coordinate with our collection. So we're going to use different color combinations for fall. If you've been seeing the trends coming out, you're going to see that there's different palettes. And it's just nice to have different alternatives to fall. I will still say that traditional colors are still the most popular, but I've had more people interested in our alternative colors. You know, just something different that maybe goes with their home decor a little better. Yes, Sherry. Yeah, you're going to be at the workshop. Judy's going to be there. Pat. Yay, Debbie's going to be there. Fantastic. Excited about it. So we've got one bush of this greenery. We're going to use this just in the background of this design because we wanted to match our wreath that we made in design school tonight. So I'm going to take and go ahead and get it placed out. Hi there, Kathy. Good to be there. I'm glad you're here. Carol's going to be at the workshop. I love it. Sheila's going to be there. Great. If you guys don't want to miss out on the fun, there's a link in the bio, or there is a link here posted on the video. And there's also a link on our YouTube. So wherever you're watching, you won't have to miss out at all. So I'm going to get my height picked out there, and we're going to put the first piece in here in the back and get this party started. Oh my, it's slipping down a little. You probably need to let it set up a little bit longer. I was going to get it glued before I went live, but you know, I forgot. The workshop is Thursday, Bonnie. It's Thursday. So there's going to be 3 different videos on Thursday, so you don't want to miss it. It's all recorded. It's in a private Facebook group, and you can sign up for it with the link in the bio, okay? Nellie, we'll have a whole supply list for the whole project when we're done, okay? When I'm done with the video, we'll publish it. You guys can always find the supply list at Keleas.com. If they are a public supply list, if it's a private supply list, it'll be password protected. But the public ones are available for you. They also have the links to the videos so you can find them. So if you're watching this on Instagram or over on TikTok, there isn't really a replay. You'll want to go over to YouTube or Facebook to watch the replay. So let me get this in. We're going to get this drama greenery, right? Hey, Teresa, good to see you. I'm going to put this one on the other side, and we'll bring it in. I did do a video in design school of all the containers that I'm going to be using the next few weeks. So if you're a design school student, go take a look, because that way you can see what we possibly might be using. I'm glad you guys got here. Awesome. And we'll put the clickable link for the item. If it's still available at Hobby Lobby, it'll be on the supply list too, Nellie. Okay? So you can just click and go grab one. The majority of the supplies come from Keleas.com. Yes, the workshop's Thursday. Hey, Patty! Hey, I couldn't stay away. We had so much fun in design school. I needed to come back for more. So when you buy a beautifully wired pieces, you want to make sure you're utilizing all that texture to your benefit, and get it in there and manipulate them and make them do some work. I call these wall pockets, and they always do really well for me. This type of one has a broad base on the back, so it will go well on a door also. Hey, Selena, you gotta get motivated, yes. Hey, Debbie, I'm glad you're back with us again. You know, it's party till the break of dawn today. Today's epic day. I'm like super mom today. Okay, this is a gorgeous like cedar. It's fake, it's plastic. Everyone freaks out about stuff being plastic. It's beautiful though. No one's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. It's beautiful. Okay, let's get going. Now our next thing, we're gonna put in this beautiful spray. It has got some neat textures. It's got a little bit of like a mini pampas in here, which is a lot of fun. And then it's got these fun berries. And we're just gonna use this full on. Yeah, if you're coming to the workshop, definitely let us know wherever you're watching. If you need more information, you don't know where to click, we're here to help. There's a link in the bio or a link down below. I'm going to try to use this just whole because it's so pretty. It would save me a lot of time if I could just trim this down a little and just pop it in whole. I'm all about saving a few steps, if we can. Hi, Joan. I'm glad you could join us this evening. All right, let's see if we can keep it. Just trying to unwrap. But we're not going to let you unwrap. You're going to have to twist that paper back around. There you go. I'm going to put that in. We're going to put this cluster in just right over here. Okay, my foam I think is finally set up. Otherwise I was holding on to it while I'm pushing it in. Oh no, it's not. Psych, it's still a little hot. Going in hot. Okay, now I'm going to shape it all out. This one's a little long, so I'm going to cut that one, but then we'll put it back in. We can break it apart, but I want it to kind of go in this area and then just span out. So it would be less steps if it could go in as a full cluster. There we go. I don't think it went in good though. Oh, I see what happened. You have to let the glue set up, Colleen. Otherwise it's leaning. Hold on. My glue's on the move. If you just let it get hard for, for a minute and don't just get in there and start shoving stuff in it. You'll be fine. I can think of all kind of things to say after I just made that comment that are not appropriate. Just not appropriate. Oh, okay, that side's in. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to grab that other cluster like that. This is just so pretty with the berries. I'm a hot mess. You know, we were classy and sophisticated earlier, but that's gone now. So if you find that it's going to be easier for you to not use it as a full cluster, that's okay too. Don't worry. You can take and put these all in individually. It breaks apart really easily. Easy to work with. I know, that greenery in the back really sets a gorgeous tone for the whole design. See, this one's kind of long. I'm going to pull it out. I'll just open this one up. We'll just build the same cluster step by step. It's okay. So let's put these in on this side because I'm afraid I'm going to keep pushing my foam down too much. All right, I'm putting this one in here. There they go. And we're just going to match the same height we've got on the other side. So I need to have the higher piece right here to match this. So if you break them apart, just try to make them matchy-matchy. I know as much as I try not to do matchy-matchy, this design is going to be all about that. To some extent. See, I have this piece kind of coming out the edge. We're going to do that. Right here. All right, pop it in and let's break the plane of the container because that is so pretty. Yo, I cannot wait to get all boho crazy on Thursday. I mean, I'm thinking pots, pampas, all the things. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys can come join us. If you can't be there live, don't forget the replay is available, and it will be available for a whole year. So if you think it's something you want to do, we've had some people join who kiddos are getting married, and they want that type of style. And they're going to be doing the flowers for the wedding and doing the decorating. So they wanted to come and see what it was all about. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to make it as fun as possible. Okay, so we've got it nice and full. Now I'm going to get my main pieces in, which for us is a big pumpkin spray like this. You're a Blue Merino trying to join the workshop. So if you are a design school student, you're going to want to join with the link that's in the post in the design school group, okay? That'll get you in, Diane, for free. Yes, it's Selena. It's the same greenery in that wreath. You got a question over here? Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Glad you could come and hang out with us. So this spray is going to kind of come off to the side. I'm going to let it curl back a little. We're going to utilize that beautiful wire in there, and it's going to come up and over. So I'm going to think about how long my foam is about right there, so I'm going to cut it right about here. And then we'll let that one just kind of come in and party down. Right through the middle here. Yep, you want to hear that crunch, you know it's in the right spot. Then down low, I'm going to put a big chunky sunflower down here because I want it to match our wreath we made. So we're going to be putting that in. Yeah, we'll have the whole supply list for you guys. We want to train you. You're going to go to Keleas.com. You're going to click on supply lists. If the supply list is for the public and not for design school, you'll have access to it. It also has links to the videos. We also have a video library located right on the website where you can see all kind of projects and posts to teach you how to create gorgeous floral designs, all out of silk florals. But if it's your first time seeing us, you're lucky because this week we have a workshop and we only have a few a year. And you can still get in. It's all online. It's a virtual workshop. So this is going to go right in here. I've got a good height. I like the way it's cut. But the first thing I want to do is I want to break the plane of that container with a new filler that is just gorgeous greenery. And it's got this muted look like you're getting in this berry spray with all the fun textures. You see how this is very organic, berries, like a millet type looking spray. This is like a little pampas with the cedar. And now we're going to add in a beautiful filler. Okay, so let's get this in. I'm going to tear this one down. Got to leave these stems long because we're going to be putting this in to go over the edge. Hey, Darla, I'm glad you could say hi over here on TikTok. Stacy, it's a set, girl. Woof, hold my beer tonight, Stacy. It's game on. It is game on. You know it's going to be merchandise so pretty in the store. I'll have to do a video when I go to the store. Lately, the lives at the store are not working, but I'll do a video and repost it for you guys so you can drool over getting it all set up. And in design school, we'll have to make a centerpiece that match. We will. Hey, Juanita, I hope you're doing good tonight, too. All right, let's bring these in. Let's break the plane. And these are a different texture. I like that we're adding a third greenery. We've got the green in the back. We've got the filler type bush, and now we're adding a third texture, which is juicy. So juicy. So leave these super long because you got to get over and back to the, get back into it. Stacy, when you're in the zone, you gotta do it, right? Some days you got it. This is a fun style to work with, though. You can't resist it. All right, let's come more to the middle. Uh-oh, that one just fell between. Excuse me. We need all of these. We're gonna need them all. Hello there, good to see you. I'm glad you could pop in. We are having so much fun. Hope you're doing good, Katie. We're bohoing it up. Okay, look how pretty. Now let's get that sunflower in. So you can see how quick wall pockets are. If you haven't played with one, you've got to try. They're very quick, and there's a different market for them. There's something about the hard lines of the container mixing with all the florals that are just amazing also. Now make sure you get this one kind of popping forward. We want all that dimension. And then those pumpkins just kind of curling back over. Oh my gosh. This is so fun. Now I got one more piece. It's going to kind of tuck in a little short behind Mr. Sunflower. We'll tuck it in there and it'll be a party. Hey, Ramona. Hey, Jeanette. So if you were in design school earlier with us live, we created a boho inspired amazing wreath. And so we're making tonight a little pocket to coordinate with it just perfectly here. Hi there, Blue Merinos. It's Keleas. I am so excited to be with you and create something beautiful together. Okay, y'all, this is our subscription box, our latest one, our BBB box. Now, you can see it's already cut open. I've already been in it, and you might have joined us live before and seen what we made together. So I'm going to show you that first. And while I'm doing that, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow, and come back for more floral fun. So we have a subscription box that comes out every month, and it's seasonal. And what it is, it's floral supplies that coordinate and go together. So it takes all that stress out of going to Keleas.com and going, hey, what do I get? What do I want to play with? And this is part of the box. So we unbox this on a live. If you want to see the unboxing and how we made this project, just let me know in the comments. Just say, hey, I need the link to the first video, and we'll send that to you too. Today, we're going to use the rest of the box and create a second project. But isn't this gorgeous? So they're going to coordinate and be very simple. I'm not simple, but similar. But the next one is going to be totally different, okay? So here is the first project, guys. It just turned out stunning. It's kind of got a little bit of a boho vibe with a little bit of pampas and a little bit of wispiness, but it's still very neutral and natural for the fall season. Now, those subscription boxes, BBBB box, they are seasonal. So next month, it just depends when you see this video and when it's coming out. But once we get done with our fall collection of boxes, they shift to Christmas and winter. So if you're watching this in real time and not on a replay later, you'll know that the next box shifts to Christmas, but they're always seasonal, and that goes with all of our subscription boxes. So the only thing that didn't come in the box was the wreath base. So on our next project, the only thing that's not going to come in the box is going to be the candlestick. We're going to make a candlestick arrangement using what's left in the box. And then we're going to add some ribbon too. So those would be the two things you have to run out and grab somewhere else. Now this particular one, I just grabbed at Walmart. I liked it. And let me show you why. Look at how pretty the brown is to go with these colors. So I know if I'm going to put these similar type products on here, that's going to look perfect. Like the muted tone is just gorgeous to go together. And if you wanted to go with a darker candlestick, that would work also because of the fact that this wreath is dark and it looks great together. So keep those visual cues in mind. All I've done so far is we put some hot glue on there and I've glued on a little bit of foam. Nothing too difficult so far. So good. Now let me grab the rest of that box and let's take a peek what's left and let's finish our unboxing. Okay, so here's what's left in the subscription box. This is a beautiful berry and it's kind of like a wheat bush. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty and wispy. I love that one. Then we have this one. We have a little bit of pampas left, just a touch. We used about half of the, maybe a little bit more than half on the other project. Oh my gosh, great. We still have 3 pumpkins. I love that. All right, and this is going to be our filler. A beautiful grass with berry. Okay, oh my gosh, this is very similar to the grass we used on the pumpkin arrangement we made the other day. Okay, so that's the rest of our box. That's all we had in the subscription box. So we're going to try to make this just using what's left. And the other thing I'm going to add in is I'm going to add a bow. And I want to show you. I just picked out a very neutral. You may already have this ribbon at home, but this is the bow we're going to be using. All right? So let's get to town and start creating. All right, if you haven't liked, subscribed, and followed yet, you need to do that, please. Do all the things so you can be never missing one of our videos or any of our new content or live sales. Y'all, you don't want to miss any of the action. Today, y'all, the reason I'm not doing the video live is I'm getting my hair highlighted for the very first time. So if you have any advice for me on that, put it in the comments. It is an attempt to cover gray hair. I'm totally not accepting it. Tell me if you get your hair highlighted and if there's any tips I need to know. You can see here I'm just shredding these. I call that shredding because I'm just splitting them into long pieces, and then the little papers come out. You just throw those away. Makes it really, really easy to prepare your products when it comes to doing these designs. Now, if you're a subscription box subscriber and you don't make arrangements, it's not a big deal because you can always tuck these in around pieces in your home and you never have to worry about not having the right seasonal pieces to do that with. And I'm excited to be able to show you those tips and techniques from our new studio. I don't know if you've heard the news, but we have been very blessed to be able to get a new space and build a new studio with more space and hopefully different camera angles and all the fun stuff. So I'm very, very excited about it. Okay, I'm just going to trim these off a little and get them nice and neat. So this is basically what we have to work with to fill in around. We don't have like a separate greenery. That's it. Now, I've got my main focal point is going to be the 3 pumpkins. So I want to definitely put these in first. And we're not going to go super high. We're going to keep it kind of a little bit lower. So what I'm going to do is just cut these 3 off and we'll put these on first to get some great spacing and get them as our focal point in, okay? So one's higher, the others are shorter. And we just have a nice little small piece of foam here so we're not going off really huge. Now you can always make yours larger if you want and add some other greenery to do that. So this one's going to go in the back. Okay, let me grab my little bitty Lazy Susan. That would work great for this. We'll just pop it right on there. And now the easy thing with that is I can spin it around. Can you guys see that though on camera? Let me bring it here. Might be just a little too tall. Hold on. I gotta adjust the camera. All right, so I put this one in the back. I might have to just make it flat. Sometimes with the camera angle so tight you can't see it. That's okay. You'll be able to get the gist. So this is going kind of in the back. And then I'm going to put these a little shorter. like one towards the front here. And then we're going to have one coming out in this section. Okay? So you guys can see how it's laying out. All right? So that's how our 3 pieces are going in. So when I stand that out, you can see the 2 lower pumpkins. Oh, there you go. Let's move it forward a little bit. And then you guys can see better. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm trying to make that camera angle bigger. Okay. Now, I want to fill in between those with, I'm going to start with this grass as our filler. And we got to cut it a little bit shorter. And let's put one piece in right here next to Mr. Pumpkin. You know, and I didn't think about it. The other thing you're going to need also is you're going to need some Spanish moss to cover up any mechanics at the bottom. So I like to use Spanish moss. You could use something else, like some extra leaves left over from another project. Whatever you want, but you're going to need a little bit of that to cover our handiwork. So I'm kind of going right beside Mr. Pumpkin and filling that right out. And let's take a little bit of the wheat bush and put it in the middle because it's got a really cute berry. I'm going to cut it where it's a little shorter and have it come down. Oh yeah, I like that. Now my bow is going to work into here in a little bit, so I'm leaving that open and I'm just going to work around my pumpkins now. Let's take our little berry spray and I'm going to keep on filling in around it. So if you haven't played with a little candlestick design, I'm going to give you an insider tip right here. You want to stay short and low and don't go so big and bold. It's tempting to go big and bold. If you do that, your cost goes super skyrocketing high. So say short and low until you get better at making them. Then start to work on going super duper high, okay? All right. Ask me how I learned these things. Guys, this is going into year 26. So, y'all, lots of trial and error. Trial and error. Lots of it. I'm going to have to go double check my DBA and make sure I'm telling y'all right. It's 25 or 26. I get so excited. A lot of practice. Okay, let's come out this way. And I'm kind of getting good spacing on all my berries, all right? So she's kind of flying, she's flanking, she's looking good. I'm going to take and cut this one piece off here and we'll come and put it back in shorter. So don't be afraid to do that too. Just take these and cut them out, bring them back. And I'm always leaving a bit of the thick stem there. That way I can push it into the foam. Okay, good deal, good deal. So far, so good. Now, before I continue to fill in with anything else, I'm going to go ahead and put my bow in the bow zone right here. Okay, so that way I can make sure I like the placement of the bow. Alrighty. And so, I've got this on a floral pin. And I'm going to just glue that right into my foam also. And this is a simple bow recipe. We do bows on Wednesday, guys. If you never come join us for bow making, there's always new bow videos, our new live videos on Wednesdays making bows. So you're going to see the back for a second. I'm going to fluff it the way I want it. You got to fluff it the way you want it. Oh my God, it's so stinking cute already. Okay, so bow's in. Looking really good there. My pumpkins are in, going around. Now, I'm going to leave this flat for a second, and we're going to work to fill in all the detail around the bow. Okay, so let's take these. And if you watch the pumpkin video where we have a little pumpkin kit, door hanger kit, that's very reasonable. It's a great entry-level project. This is the same grass I used on there, and it breaks up really, really easy. So I can take this and cut these super short. And great idea of doing that is, the reasoning rather, is because I can tuck them in and use them all around the bow. Our design school, guys, opens up twice a year. And I teach you the principles of design and why we're doing what we're doing and what it does to the eye, what it does to the value of your wreath if you're a reseller, why you want to do certain things to add value and to make your wreath stand out. So keep an eye on for class opening up soon. If you're watching this in between class openings, you just want to get on our wait list, of course. And you can do that anytime at KeleasDesignSchool.com. It's a different website. There's a link for it on Keleas.com too. jump over there because we do this every week and it's all recorded and live. And you get access to me and to many, many projects and an amazing community of other designers. See how I cut this to its own little cluster? We're going to use that and come on down and pop that down here too. So I call this like merchandise. Merchandise around the bow. Break the planes of all the textures and all the different levels of the design. Okay, so I've clustered a few of these together. We're going to trim that, cut it, and I may have to pin this in. When you get really thin, you might pin it in. If you use a pick machine, you could do that too. Keleas doesn't use a pick machine, but I'll just pin it with a little floral pin up in there in the bottom. And then we'll tack a little glue on it. Only because I had to cut these really short to hold them. And I'm going to try to hide that behind my bow. So just pick up that skirt of that bow. Excuse me, bow. Excuse me, darling. I need to tuck this in here, and I don't need you impeding my progress. All right, good. I like those little soft pieces in there. Now I'm going to put a little glue. You can pump a glue gun. I don't use a glue gun either. This is glue coming out of my electric skillet. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of moss in there too. That just kind of makes a little sandwich, and it hides that pin. Okay. In. Looks so far so good. Isn't that looking good at the front? That looks great. Okay, and let me get one more berry cluster, and we're going to put it a little bit tighter to the bow in there, tighter. That is how it's going to look like this, guys, but I'm working on it from the side, so we can work on the little center area. And I'm going to put this one in just a little bit more to the back. Okay, so the nice thing about putting that bow in is it takes up a little real estate. It fills in beautifully behind our pumpkins. And now what we can do is just fill in a little bit more. See how cute she's looking? You're kind of seeing it from, look at that. Isn't that looking good? Great. So I want to fill in a little bit more around here. So I'm just going to put it straight up, and we're going to keep adding in this direction. All right? Let's do it. Thanks for the follows. I see you guys following and liking. I'm so glad you're here. And, you know, fall, Christmas time is really our go time where we are creating like crazy. Now, I'm going to keep putting a little bit more around, pointing to the front here for a second. And then we're just going to take a minute and we're going to make the back look pretty. So I've got a nice, beautiful spray. I've got a good shape. Let me just look at it myself. I like it. The only thing I'm going to cut back is this little piece right here. So if you see a piece that's kind of shooting out a little bit farther than you want it, take it out. And I'll pop this in. Now, when we're all done, I will have finished pictures for you. We'll be posting here on Keleas.com. You'll also see them on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, all the thing. You can see it finished and how it all came together. Okay, now we're going to work on the back because the back is just green moss back there. Now, I've got a little bit left. We're going to fill in, but we want to make sure we get it nice, short, and tight with this. And then we're going to cover the mechanics just with Spanish moss. So let's just lay it down where you can see what we're working on and cut these down a little short. Okay, because we don't want this shooting up above. Like I said, if you start to make it really big and tall, you have to fill in a lot. So keep it short and a little more compact. You know how good things come in small packages? Same concept here. Okay, let's trim these down. Oh my gosh, we're doing so good. We've made this so far. I think we'll get done under 20 minutes, which is amazing for a candlestick project. They can take a little bit longer, but we're rocking it out. So these are all short, and we're going to fill in right around the base here. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to mix in the Spanish moss. So we have 3 different colors of Spanish moss on Keleas.com. They don't come in the subscription boxes because they're big, huge bags. I think they're a full pound, so they're sold by the weight, not volume. And they come in chartreuse, dark green, and light green. Really, they can work for any season. They mix and match. But for fall, I like light green or chartreuse. And then in the Christmas, I generally switch back to the dark green. And in spring, we use the dark green a lot. So it kind of works out great filling in with the 3 different colors. But just start off with one color, use it, and then you can add another color to your collection when you run out. Okay, so I filled in nice and full back here. So if somebody sees the back of the arrangement, it does look very nice and neat and clean. Now, grab your Spanish moss. I keep mine just in a metal bucket like this so I can easily bring it out to the party. Bring it to the party, moss party. Now, I gotta find my floral pins, which I think are over here. I got them right here. Excuse me. Long reach, folks. I don't glue the moss. You just take and make nice little bowls. And in this case, we're trying to cover a flat surface right here. So just take and tuck that there. This one's going to kind of go up by the stems, and I'll put one more below. So you see how beautiful the chartreuse looks with this, and it just fits perfectly. You can moisten your Spanish moss if you want to, just don't overdo all that. This is it is dyed and preserved, so we don't need to be inviting water back to it a lot. A light misting is fine. I do not generally do that though. I just get in here and, like I say, I pick it, stick it, shove it in. No, not really shove it. Very politely price it in. And you can see I'm fluffing it back up to cover the floral pins as I push it in. Okay. Just work that all around to hold these in and cover any of our mechanics. It's not the glamorous part. Some people do this first on their designing. I prefer not to, because then I end up having to work around it, and I don't like to work around it because it kind of gets in your way. I like to come in and use it at the last, and you'll find you use a lot less if you do it at the last moment. Another thing you could do that's kind of neat and clean is if we had like a chunkier piece of foam, we could cover it with ribbon also around the edges. And that I would do first, but you have to have a design that's going to work with that. All right, let me keep putting it in here until we've kind of covered all of our foam. How are we doing on time? We did pretty good. And just crunch that up. Now we got to come back and make our bow look beautiful. That wasn't too bad. We didn't make too big of a moss mess. I think we did pretty good, all things considering. But there is our candlestick, guys. Doesn't it look amazing? I think it turned out so beautiful. And I'll get some good pictures of it out in the sunshine so you can see how pretty it is. And we'll take pictures with it with the wreath. Oh, you know what we forgot? We've got our pampas. Oh, we're not done yet. We got to add just a little touch of that drama. The drama. Okay, let's do that real fast. We'll add the pampas. Where are you, pampas? I forgot, I dropped her right here. So let's put a couple touches of her in. Man, just when you think you're done, the drama is here. When I thought about taking those pictures together, I was like, oh, but where's the pampas? Here it comes. I love that we had 2 pieces of it left. All right, so I'm going to use them kind of opposite angles to each other. I think that would be beautiful. And I'm going to soften it by letting it kind of go behind some of the florals here. Okay, so we'll just push this one in. Oh, yeah. So if you want to be more dramatic, then use it in the foreground. If you want to be more subtle, then use it in the background. And that's kind of what I did on the wreath. I didn't let it be the massive dramatic part of the whole piece. Look at that. Okay, let's have this come down. I'm trying to see. Those are at the same length. Let's cut these a little shorter. I'm going to pull them out. They look just like little feathers. All right, let's give that a twirl in the glue pot and bring it down. Come on down. And we're just going to let these softly push in. Oh, beautiful. And I want this one just a tad bit shorter. So what I'll do, and I did this also when we made the wreath, y'all, because I'm just going to sacrifice a little and have it shorter. And you could keep this to tuck in at the top of the bow here. So I'm going to take this little piece, we'll tuck it in, just really softly in, beautiful, and then I'm going to use the other piece at the bottom. So we just added a little bit of subtle drama without a whole lot of craziness, and it's soft and beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love it, y'all. All right, check to see the finished pictures, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, hi, Bloomeritos. It's Keleas here, and I am just setting up to go live with you guys. So come on in. Totally come in. Get ready to have some fun. If you haven't been watching this last week, I'm pulling a lantern out here. Sorry, y'all. We have been doing a, it is a mini challenge that has been seeing how many projects we can get out of one garland. So we are on our third project out of this garland, and this will probably be our final one. Sorry, y'all. Let me get a drink. I just got choked up. Too much good old allergies down here in Houston. We complain about the rain, we get all the rain, and then it's like, here come the allergies. Let me see if I can find you guys. Yes, I'm finding your comments. Yay! Hi, Ramona. I'm glad you're here, and Genevieve and Faye. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so day one. First of all, here's our garland, okay? It started off as, I believe it's a 6-foot garland. It's either 5 or 6 feet of goodness here, okay? And we are down to this section right here left. So it was really big, and now we're down to just this, okay? And I want to show you what we've made with all of these. The first day, now we have added a couple of things, in full disclosure. We added ribbon, okay? That didn't come on the garland. We added that. And then in each of these projects, we've added a little bit of extra fillers. I added this little wheat bush to this one, and then a little twig to this one, okay? So this is the first one we did. We made it on a cute little board. Hi, Denise. Hi, Pat. Hey, Jody. Hey, Rhonda and Jeannie. Right? Jeannie, we're all good with the rain, but then it just keeps raining, and then we've got allergies. But if you live in Houston, Sugar Land, all this area where I live down here in Texas, totally normal, used to it. So this was our first killer project. I love the way this came out. We made it, and it can hang or lay, and it's just so nice. Then yesterday, on day 2 of the mini workshop, we did this one with the garland. We made a simple wreath. Let me pull this out of the way so you guys can see it. And these replays are available for you, so you can see what we did all together. This one we added the same ribbon. We're making these all to go together. We used pieces from the garland. We used a little bit more of the wheat bush and everything. We used 2 of those, and we ended up not using the twig and the astilbe. We're going to work these in today to our last project using the last bit of the garland. So if you're wondering what the heck are we doing, why are we using a section of a garland, that's what we're doing, okay? Now, right now we're getting ready to send out notifications that we're live. So anybody who wants to catch us on the live can do that. Our text number is 832-734-5201, okay? 832-734-5201. That's pinned here at the bottom of the Facebook feed. If you are on TikTok or on YouTube, check our links up there. We've got a link for you to join. Check the link tree, and you can go in there and just sign up for that. And that way you don't miss a video. Even if you don't respond right away to the message, you've got the link. We send the link, so you're not wasting time trying to find us. You can actually go back to the notification center and find the link to go watch the replay, okay? Now, replays are on YouTube and Facebook, and eventually there'll be a blog post about them. So if you're ever looking for older replays, you can go to Keleas.com too and check those supply lists. They have the links for you. Try to make it real easy for you to find anything you want to find. Replays, when you get your orders in, when you order stuff from us and you get your orders in, you're like, okay, where's that video? We got it for you. Don't worry, we're here to help, okay? We want you to use your stuff, make beautiful things, sell your things, make more, make all your homes gorgeous. That's what we want you to do. And most of all, I want you to just catch the passion and the fun that is involved in floral design. It's just addictive. And I work with all the silk florals, so these are all artificial. You don't have to worry about anything giving up on you. It's all good to go, okay? All right, let's get going. So these are our last few sections, and we're going to make a lantern swag. Hey, Kim. Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Genevieve. Oh, let's see. Vicki loves this little challenge. Nice, Vicki. It's fun. I think we have a couple garlands left. There's not very many more. And those of you who are getting the swag kits, they're just about sold out also. So if you see something you like, guys, we're getting to the busy time of year. You've got to kind of decide quickly if you're going to get it or not. You might miss it, but your video will be here for you. Don't worry. So I'm going to divide this into sections and keep them a little bit long. I got to glue the little top of that pumpkin back on. I found it in my pocket. I'm always picking up bits and pieces. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and separate it out and shape this all up. Okay, see I'm shaping it into sections. And I'm going to get them all going into nice clusters. So I've made kind of my own sprays out of the garland. Just like this. Okay, and the two products that I'm going to mix in besides the bow that we're going to make, I'm going to use this one is Stilby because it's just so big and bold and beautiful. I think it's going to look really pretty in our lantern swag, guys. I think it's going to be just perfect. We're going to use that, and we're going to add in a little bit more twig. Okay, so we're going to have that both going in there, and these colors coordinate so great with the whole collection we have going. Okay? So when you're doing a lantern swag, you can use a smaller ribbon, but we have been rocking out this big 4-inch ribbon. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to be using that. I'm going to tie the bow first while we get started. Now, don't forget, guys, we have a live sale marathon going on as well. And this is this will be day 3. And that'll be later this afternoon also. So I'll be sending you out a text where you'll be seeing the new live stuff that's coming. All right. Hi, Tina. I'm so glad you're here. You can't see the sprays? Let me see. Which sprays? These ones? Right here? And these are the ones I've cut. Hopefully you can see everything now a little bit better. I'm streaming on multiple platforms, so you might see me hold something up somewhere else, but I'll move it back to you, okay? It'll go to everybody eventually. You got a lot of cameras at once. We got the cameras going. Hi, Triple D. Good to see you too. All right. So for this swag, I want to show you, we're making what's called a lantern swag. So it's a smaller swag. But we're going to put this on one of our lanterns. I don't know if we have any of these lanterns left in stock. This is my set. But I want the ribbon to go down long enough to go all the way. Why is my camera so little? I'm sorry, was that the problem? It zoomed in. Okay. I didn't catch that. I must have touched the screen. There you go. Jeez, sorry. I touched the screen over here. I'm sorry about that. I apologize, Lisa. I didn't know I made it little. So you can see my lanterns. This is the lantern we're going to add the swag to. So I need that ribbon long enough to go down the whole piece. So depending on which piece you're putting yours on, make it long. It needs to be long to put it on there, okay? Here we go. All right, bring it here. Hopefully you guys are seeing it good everywhere now. I had hit the camera and I didn't know it. So let's bring that in. That'll be my first tail. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Sometimes y'all can't let me loose with cameras and technology. Just get to making and just don't even look. I'm looking at the feed and I'm like, I see it fine. But I forget I'm watching a delay on here. So I'm going to make this one at 7 inches. Just make a nice big, just fat and happy loop. Oh, hey, Wanda, you're at the beach having a break and relaxing. Lovely. Enjoy, Wanda. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to bring this one down a little bit shorter because I like to stagger them. And we did find out with this 4-inch ribbon, you can totally dovetail it. It's pretty stinking cute. So for the 3 projects, I've almost used all my ribbon. I've got probably one more project left in there. So you know, if you want to get this ribbon, we do have it on the supply list. It will make it through all 3 projects, plus a little. Now let's go in that, take this off, and come down the center. Hi, Sheila. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'll bring that cable tie up and get this tight. Okay. And just rotate that to the back. And I'm going to fluff it out. Just like I do every Wednesday and tie bows with you guys, we're doing the same process. CJ, Rick, I'm wishing you quick and just easy recovery. CJ for sure. Genevieve, you can't wait to get your ribbon? Is that what you mean? Nice. You can't wait. Okay. I got you, girl. Absolutely. It's going to be on its way. Okay. Now I'm going to come in the center with a little piece to cover up that mechanics. So this is kind of the important part of the design because I've got to make sure that that center looks really pretty. And when you fold up that bit of burlap, you can see how it just looks really nice in the middle. I always love that. Hi, Terry. Hi. Terry says, hey, Keleas, my fellow Bloomerinos. It's starting to feel a little fallish in Houston, right? It has been. It's been a little rainy and a little bit cooler. So it's tricking us. So there's my bow. Remember, I need that bow at the right length to get down my lantern on one side. We made the other tail a little shorter. Easy peasy, okay? First step. Now let's take the parts of our garland to create the next step. We've got to build out a swag. Okay. We're going to have to do these garland challenges more. If you like this, let us know so I can know, hey, we need to do more little garland challenges so you guys can see what we can build out of a garland. All right, I'm going to use this twig piece as kind of a base to like work down the side of my lantern. So I'm going to leave this full, except I'm going to steal a couple of twigs out of here. We'll be adding in, okay? Let's cut this one. It's just warmed right up in North Carolina, really. So much for that cool weather, huh? All right, let's come in here and trim the next one down. All right, I'll save these for adding up other places. Put those off to the side. And I know I want mine to still be rocking in here somewhere in the swag. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure out in a minute, but I'm going to get one of the longer pieces in with the pine. I want that twig to kind of pop up and come down. Rhonda says, I love the garland challenge. Definitely do more. Okay, Rhonda, we'll do. We'll do. Rhonda's been making some gorgeous pieces. We just love her in design school. She's a great designer. Stephanie, yay! You're traveling from Texas to Mississippi. Caught lots of rain showers this morning. My dad is on the way back from San Diego, Stephanie. So, you know, they come home in the fall after summer's kind of ending, and they're on their way back. My mom's already back, actually. Dad's driving by himself, and he hit a lot of rain, too. I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to use my cable ties to secure this to the main stem and start to build out my little swag. Now, this is the lantern I'm going to put it on. So I want to start thinking about the length. Okay, so I really can't go much longer. If that's going to be coming down from it'll be coming up here from the top. So that's about it. Aw, you deserve it, Rhonda. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. Right, 89 in Houston, Terry. We just say that's fall. That is perfect. We can breathe. You have a very long wish list, Jody. For sure. So I think I want to use this piece up a little higher here. I'm going to use my biggest still bee to add in just for some drama. So really, let's have that kind of come up here with this piece. And I'm not going to cut off the base yet until I start kind of building what I want and manipulating it. So let's table tie all these in together. The nice thing about making like mini swags is you just can kind of lay it on your table like I'm doing and see what you like. You don't have to really terribly overthink it. One of the benefits of using that swag is it is all going to kind of coordinate together because it's made to go together, and it just makes it easy on you. Okay, trim that one off. Is this a good one to keep? Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Keep that one. Okay, so I got my swag base kind of being built up. Let's bring that lantern back. Oh, Mom and Dad love to go to San Diego in the summers. Their whole retirement plan is built around how long they can afford that. And I don't blame them. Now they've got my niece off to college. They have more freedom than ever. Okay, you see how it's looking so far? I just need to know if I'm going to attach it to the very top. That would be kind of up here. So I've got to see what else I can add. I want more drama at the top here for sure. So let's bring this one in, kind of layer it in front, and let these work behind. So don't be afraid to manipulate it to what you need for your look. Oh, the pine cone just came off. Did I accidentally cut its wire? I think I did because it's got no wire. Well, shooty patootie. How did that? Well, I could put the pine cone, I could rewire it in and we can put it back over here. I'll do that in a little bit. But that is going to go right there. Okay, guys? I decapitated it. I get scissor happy, right? Cutter happy. Cut, cut, cut. All right, let's bring this piece in. And I want to be able to pull some of these leaves in down around the bow also. Okay. So here comes in the bow. And I'm going to put it right in that section between there. Now, if you wanted to make a small hanger, like little sconce pieces to go in your entryway, to go with some of your regular light fixtures, this is such a beautiful piece to hang off as you come in. Terry, isn't it going to be perfect on the lantern? We're making a little lantern swag. And I'll get some pictures for y'all later and post with it on the swag, showing you how it all looks. It's hard to get the angle right when I'm filming straight down here. I would take this ribbon and it would probably kind of run behind. You see what I'm talking about? How pretty that is in there? Oh, we were going to dovetail these. Let me dovetail these because that was super cute. Which I didn't think it was going to look that good dovetailed, but it actually did. Shocking. There you. Is it just cute? Because you see the little up and down? The little V in there. Hey guys, if you're new and you're just getting here watching, if you'd like to get live alerts, just text us the word live to our text number down there. Oh, I just cut that wrong. Psych. Redo. The text number is 832-734-5201. Just send us that word live, and we'll be able to send you live notifications when we're live. We have a Discord server where we send out all the notifications with links. And even if you're not able to join us live right at that time, the cool thing is you can come back and have the links to come see what you missed while we were creating, and you might have been somewhere else doing not the creating stuff, right? It's so autumny, yes. So I'm going to take and cover some of my mechanics. I'm going to steal a little leaf here, and we're going to cover this cable tie down in there and put that on. So, although we've made this to go on a lantern, there's no reason you couldn't add a hanger to the back and use this right now to hang up to be a simple little swag. Some simple pieces like this were always great sellers for me in my Etsy store. Not everything had to be a big, over-the-top piece. A lot of really basic, gorgeous little pieces like this were good items for me. Let me turn it this way. Okay, I've left that big stick on the back still. Okay, so you could definitely make a hanger if you wanted to make it a regular swag. Just have it come right off. Those two pieces of twig that we cut off earlier are going right in the center right here. And I'm just sticking them under that one cable tie. Now, I'd like a little more leaves right in here. And you could just steal these from this piece back here. Take one that's kind of in the back. This is way in the back here. Okay. And this has those velvet leaves, which, oh, I love that. Mary Lou loves these colors. Hello, Judy. Let's bring this down in here. Yes. I'm still going under that one cable tie. I'm going to get a little leaf in there, turn that around. And I still got to put the top of my pumpkin back on. But once I do that, we are good to go. So basically, I use the last third of our garland, and then I added the one biggest still be right here, this big stem, and I added some twig. And let me show you how it's going to look on the lantern when we add it to it. Okay, I just have to do it flat on the table for you guys to see. But here's our little lantern, and it will tie up here at the top, kind of off to the side. You guys see it? And it'll look just like that. Isn't that going to be gorgeous? It's hard to show you flat on the table, but you can kind of see how fun that is. And the nice thing is I'll just tie that from back here. You can tie it to the front of your lantern, or you can tie it all the way to the top, just depending on the design of your particular lantern you're using. But you have a swag like this that you can use for anything. You know, it's made to hang, but you can also take and definitely lay it anywhere. Or I think it'd be neat to add under some existing light fixtures you already have in your home. So you guys, if this is the first time you've come to one of our lives this week, this is our 3rd project we've made with one garland. Very pretty. Thank you. Thank you so much. Here is our first project we made. We made a centerpiece, which turned out super cute. All the same kind of color palettes. Then we made a wreath. So sometimes these big fancy garlands might look intimidating. Their prices might be like, well, Clee, you know, how am I going to use that and make it cost effective? Well, this is how you're going to use it and make it cost effective, guys. You're going to get 3 projects out of one garland, and we only added 3 picks of this for 2 here, 1 there, and then 2 twig picks, 1 here, 1 here, and then 1 still bait. But any combination of all this can go together. And if you want to make a huge, huge table piece, 1 garland, a couple of these, and a couple of the brown twigs, you're good to go. We got to start off by putting some floral foam on here. So what I've pre-done is I've cut some little blocks. So I usually get the big floral foam sheets, and then I cut it into all the little pieces I can so I can get just a whole lot out of it. So what I'm going to do is dip these in glue, and then we're going to just, I've got my glue pot right over here, and I'm just going to give that a little scrape, and like you want a nice layer, okay? And we're going to tuck this right in on this right corner right here, boom, okay? We're taking another little square. This is probably like a 2x3 square, and I'm going to scrape that off also so it's got a nice coating on it. That's going to go on this side. So you get the gist. You see what I'm doing? I'm getting some foam everywhere. I don't need a ton of it. And then I cut a little block just to go right in front of this tummy, because that way I've got enough area to put all of my pieces in and just build this cute little centerpiece right up. So when I'm teaching a design school, I'm always going to be teaching you to build a really good solid foundation, because I want to teach you to also sell your work and how you can get the most for every piece that you work with. So in design school, I'm going to teach you first to create a really great solid foundation by starting with greenery, of course. The mechanics of putting it together with the foam, getting that on, and getting this base just ready to rock and roll. So we're going to start with these. This is a bush that has leaves and berries, and we're going to put these kind of in the background. So if you want to make this for your house and use this on your mantle, you can definitely change the supplies. You can just get the turkey. You don't have to get all the supplies, whatever you want that will go with your look. But this is one of my, really, it's kind of a fun, quick arrangement. Now hold on to those good wired stems. We always want to save these for other projects. Now with this, I want you to take it, I want you to move the leaves to the background and keep the pumpkins and the berries in the foreground. So it creates a base layer of greenery. And so if we're making a wreath, we would call that in design school, we'd call that greening the perimeter. And we're going to do that same thing with that centerpiece right now. So if you are in design school, give yourself a shout out in the comments. Tell us you're a Keleas Blue Merino here watching. We thank you so much. And if you would like to encourage anyone else out there watching, let them know how much you love design school and what you enjoy about it. That would really be a blessing to us and our family. All right, I'm going to cut these a little shorter. I am a little bit shorter. I'm just trimming them down a little bit to just like about 1 inch stem. I've shook hands with them. I got them right where I want them. And now we're going to green that perimeter like I talked about. So, depending how long and wide your mantle is, I want you to think about how far to go out. So, I'm going to go out about 10 inches on either side. So, we're going to go into my glue here and give that a swirl around. And then just push it right in here, because this is going to be greening the perimeter. So this will be the longest greenery. The rest of the greenery will be shorter. And just push that into the foam. All right, number 1 piece is in. Now I'm going to go on the right with the same thing. It's a pretty symmetrical design. What you do on the right, you'll also do on the left. So you're going to see me doing that right now. Let me move my moss over just a little bit. And now go in right here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so big and beautiful. I love it. Now, the reason I got the Spanish moss is because that's, if I need to cover up or hide anything, I'm going to be using this, okay? And that's our chartreuse Spanish moss there. All right, now I need to take my centerpiece and we're going to divide this into 2 pieces, okay? So we'll have 2 pieces that are kind of similar length, and we will just go one on the right and one on the left. So we're still working our perimeter, and we're going to just evenly space that out. I'm going to kind of keep these a little low. Yeah, how cute are you? Little gobble gobble. This gobble gobble's adorable. All right, I'm going to put that a little bit further back. Those hit each other in the foam, so if that happens, just move down a little bit in the foam. Okay, so I don't want it to come in forward too much, just the perfect amount, so it'll just kind of drape over the edge of my mantle. And you can work some pumpkins, some candlesticks beside it, but super cute turkey right here. Okay, now we're gonna get our bigger greenery bush, and this one right here, I've got 2 of these. We're gonna use this to fill in all that area, just so lush with greenery. So I want you to take and push them up just a little to where you've got about a 5-inch stem here, and they're not quite so spread out. So we get a nice bushy look. See that? That's what we're going for. Cut everybody to 2-inch stems and just kind of hack down this whole bush. And we're going to do 1 bush this way, and we're ready to go, and we're going to be putting that in now. Okay? So let's just start on either side like we've been doing, and we'll put this one on the right. All right, very good. And then I'll put one on the left in the same position. Gotta work back and forth. Perfect. Now let's put some in the middle. So get 2 that are about the same, and then we'll put one on the right and one on the left in the middle. And I'm being really diligent not to cover up the turkey. Everything's gonna stay low, and we're gonna create this great base. Because when we get ready to put those pumpkins in, and we put in the super cute orange florals that we're gonna add, that's gonna just fill right in. Now I'm going to come right to the middle and go a little bit higher here and off the side, pretty. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this will kind of come off the top of the phone. I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit. Trim that stem a little bit. It's a little bit too long. Don't be afraid to shorten them or adjust them as necessary. You see those coming up? Okay, cute. So I've got my base greenery, and then I've got my my leafy, like branchy greenery, okay? I'm going to take and push these down. And then I'm going to trim them all down as well. Here we go. So 5 inches with about a 1 to 2 inch stem is perfect. We can always shorten them more if we need to. So we're just trying to get really good coverage as we work our way around. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go on the top this time of the foam and over to the right. Okay? So make it a little shorter. And if you need to, grab it and then pull it. Ugh. There you go. And this one on the left. Okay, just right on top. Beautiful. Now let's put a little bit more. Now we're going to kind of come forward. So give that a little bit of a bend. I'm always talking about depth and dimension in design school, so I want you to know the same thing here if you're watching. Depth and dimension allow you to get a higher value for your wreaths you're selling, and really they'll take your pieces to the next level, which is what you really want when you're creating. You want to keep stepping up your designs to reach the next level. And you know, if you want to be a seller, you want to attract the right clientele. Good coverage going on right here at the center. So I'll put this one in the right there, and we'll kind of bring it down. Super cute. So it's nice and filling out with greenery. I'm going to take this one and use it over on the right. I'm going to pull it down a little bit to get that shorter. This one's going to go over here. Yes, I love that. Super cute. So let's get a look at what we got going on right now. Let me pull my glue pot out of the way and show you how cute. So we've got this great base going. We've got the leaves with the little mini pumpkins and then the greenery. I do have 2 pieces of this left. I'm going to put that off to the side, and we're going to put our orange grass in next. With this bush, I'm just going to take and tear each of these stems off of here, and then we'll trim it and get it ready to start putting in. Okay, so when you trim these down, you're going to get like a little, a longer stem and a shorter. And I'm going to cut those into 2 sections so I can kind of break it up a little bit into the 2 pieces. So let's do that with the whole bush. Cut off that longer one and then the shorter. Everybody just needs a nice little 2-inch stems when you're trimming them. So you're always going to see me take a bush a lot of times, or a pick or a spray, and we're going to break them down into smaller pieces if we need to. On this design, we are working on, filling out the base and not being so long, so they need to be kind of short, okay? That's the magic of what we're doing here to prep this. This one might be a little too long. I'm going to do this into 2 pieces. Okay, so everybody gets pretty consistent in length. And what we want to do is, this is going to be our orange color that we're going to add along with our cute little pumpkins we're going to put in. So I've got 4 pieces of this, so I want to make sure I work these in evenly as I go through the whole piece. And then I'm going to hold these off to the side, and we'll use those in a moment too, once we get our pumpkins in. I'm going to take this one and just give it a little swim in the glue skillet here. And let's put one kind of on top. I'm going to lay it on top right here, out to the edge. Kind of over here to the side. Yes. So what I'm trying to do is get a little bit of this orange color going, because that's what we're going to have with our cute pumpkins. This one's going to run right up the middle. I'm going to put it just right here in the center, so it can kind of come out the beginning, the front. Whoa, gobble gobble, buddy. If you can't get that one to lay down, I'll trim it. Okay, let me trim him and I'll put him in separate. You can always do that. The foam is available for you just to put things in individually. Okay? It's kind of popping up, but it's not quite exactly sitting where I want it. Hopefully by the time I get the pumpkins in, it will cooperate. Now this one's going to go off to the left. Alright, off to our left, kind of cascading in between those 2 pieces of greenery, and we're kind of doing what we did on the right, we're doing it on the left, and look how fun that is. Alright, hold these little orange pieces off to the side, and it's time to grab our pumpkin. Our super cute pumpkins are coming in. And we're going to start with these, just cutting them off the stem into their long pieces, and definitely going to be breaking them up into smaller pieces because they are so much fun. But I'm just tearing them a little and cutting them. Now, if you were going to do like a fall tree that you wanted to put like full pumpkin stems, this would be great for that. You could use those long stems because it's so nice and long. Now what I'm going to do is divide these into sections so I get nice, cute little sections like this of pumpkins. And I'm going to have a long and a short, I think, off each one. So this will be my short one, and this will be my long one. Okay? I'm going to do that with all 3 sections. And we'll have a short and a long. So let's start with those long pieces. I'm going to put the short ones in my bucket for a second, and we'll come back to those. The long pieces, we want to use those cool wires and this cool vine that's on them, and use these right kind of coming out from the center to start with. How fun is that going to be? Because can you see that on your mantle, and it's kind of reaching out over the edge? Oh my gosh, this turkey never looked better. Okay, I'm going to find my other creepy cool one like this, and it's going to go on the other side doing the same thing. So one on the right, one on the left. I love, love, love it. Okay, just push that in the same area and let it come down. Now, I'm going to take the remaining pieces we have left, and we're going to cut them into little small pieces, which we've already got in the bucket here. All right, and let's take and start tucking these in. So we need one on each end first. So let's find a couple of these more dramatic ones, and let's put them on each end. Okay, so I'm dipping them in my glue. We're going to go on the right over here. I love him. This one's going to kind of put the pumpkins a little more underneath, so it's not quite so in your face. Do the same thing over here. A little bit kind of tucked into that greenery. Over to the side. Oh yeah. Kind of working on that dimension like I talked about earlier. Isn't that great? See our lines working? I've got these 2 work in the middle and those coming out the bottom. Let's put a nice big fat cluster right in the middle. Okay. Coming out straight. Isn't that awesome? Right there. And then these 2 on either side. So I'm going to tuck one to the right, kind of coming over into that area, and then we'll put one over into here. So we've got just this whole festival of pumpkins in here with grasses. Super cute. I'm loving it. Great filling in. And we're going to soften those now. We're going to bring back the greeneries and the pieces we had left, and we're going to work these in right now. I'm going to save those 2 pieces of green to the very last. And what I want you to do is grab these that just have kind of the white, and we're going to start to evenly distribute those. We have white here, we have white there, so we need a little bit more in each of these other sections. A little touch of this nice muted, it's kind of a brown white with a little touch of orange. We're going to put that on either side. So as we're doing this whole design, everything kind of transitions at the middle. You know, it goes from the center and out to the right and left. So when you start to make your own designs for your home, I want you to think about that when you're putting things together. How can I have this flow work? How does this transition of my florals work in here? That's really what makes your pieces so different and nice. And we're layering up those colors. You notice we didn't just use all the orange in one place or all the brown in one place. We worked harder to distribute those colors throughout the design. And that's what I want you to do on yours too. Whether it's for you or you want to learn how to sell them with us over here at Keleas.com and learn to take your business to the next level, I'm here to help you. Let's bring this one in one more. Okay. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. I love him. It's just fully loaded. I got a little bit of grass here that I'm going to kind of come up against his body just a little bit right here in the middle. Kind of like a little fun homage to that other piece, kind of tucking up. Cute. Now, we put all that white in the foreground, and I'm going to soften it just a tinge by just doing some little clusters of the green up here at the front too. Okay, cut that stem just a little bit longer this time because we need a little bit of room to reach the foam. This is going to go right in here in the middle. So there's a lot going into this section, but it's worth it. Now, the last thing you're going to want to do is you're going to check in there. And if you can see any of your foam, you're going to come in and you're going to put a little bit of moss on it and tuck that in to cover up any mechanics. So that way you've got a great piece ready to sell, ready to put in your Etsy shop or take to your craft show. And you are good to go. Hey Blue Merinos, it's Keleas. Let's play with some beautiful fall supplies to make the cutest little Scarecrow centerpiece. So we've got our adorable Scarecrow, and she is going to be like our focal point in the design. We're going to kind of put her in last, but what I want you to do is kind of find the spot she's going to go in. We're going to play with her. We're going to jazz her up a little. I want to pull her little hat back and make her super duper cute. But she's pretty tall, but we need to kind of get her in, you know, decide where she's going to go. And I usually like my larger pieces to be off to the side. So if she's going to go right here, you may not be able to see her whole body right this second. But I think if she's going to go right here off to the side, what we will do is I will leave that spot open for us to put her in towards the end, and we'll start building out the base first, okay? So I'm going to put her over to the side. She can sit over here and patiently wait for us to get her beautiful abode rocking and rolling. So we're starting with the cutest little metal container. It's kind of in the same color palette as her vest. And we're going to be using this spray right here for the bulk of the greenery. Leaves, cute little berries, all the great accents. So that's going to go in here to fill up. I've got some fun twigs. Those are a lot of fun to kind of give that rustic look. These are artificial. I love them because they don't shed or anything like that. And then over here for the height in our design, we'll use this. This is a peony bush that has these cute little blooms on it that are really, really easy to work with. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. I've got 2 pieces of floral foam already mounted in. Those are glued in, ready to go. I like these handles on either side. When I order things to resell, I get things that are going to work great for shipping for those of you who sell. So these have these nice handles that are easy to attach if you're going to ship your items. If not, they still work great for all the different seasons. It's just a beautiful color palette. All right, so we're leaving that section open. And what you could even do is just kind of give yourself a little X here. Don't put anything right in here because that's where Mrs. Scarecrow is going to go. So I'm just going to put me a little mark with some scissors on that part. And let's start getting our greenery ready to go in. Now, if you're not already liking and subscribing and following, please do that so you won't miss any of our content. I love when we're putting out new videos to help show you how to do beautiful things for your home every season. And y'all know everything that you see me using here is available at Keleas.com. And when we do a project, we have the supply list for you at Keleas.com. And then you can head over there, and anytime you click on a supply list, there will be a link to that video. If a video is password protected, that means it's a private video for our design school. And you are always welcome to join design school when it's open for new students, or get on our wait list. All you got to do is head over to KeleasDesignSchool.com, or you can go to WreathTeacher.com to help you grab a spot in our class. Now, I just tore those pieces off, and then I just cut them off really nice and neat. And let's start what we call creating our perimeter. Whether making a wreath or a centerpiece, we have changes in direction, and we have to create the perimeter to kind of give us a guideline for what we're doing. So we know we're going to go tall over here. We're going to have a lot of fun with all the width on this design right now, and we're going to do what we call set the perimeter. So this piece is going to go in, and I'm going to let it kind of break the plane of the container and just come over the edge. All right, that one's going off on the right, and this one's going to come over the left. Now I'm going to have feet there, so I want to go right beside where her feet are going to go. Now, when you work with high quality materials like we sell on Keleas.com, you're able to manipulate those wires all kind of really nice. You don't have to use extra pick machines and take a lot of extra steps, because it's all done for you in the quality product. All right, and this piece, let's have it kind of move to the front. I think we'll have it go this way, back out to the right. Let me pull our twigs over. We're going to work with those in a second. But I want to show you this one going to the front of the design. Now this is my electric skillet with hot glue right beside me, and it has got everything we need to put these pieces in. Look at this, how pretty. So these are kind of spilling over. All right, now I'm not going to worry about too much on the back right now. We're going to make this a one-sided design just to keep our costs down a little bit. We'll fill in back here, but we want this to be pretty. It could go on a hall table, somewhere it's against the wall. Maybe you have a mirror behind it. And then it'll just look pretty in front of that, or something like that for location. Now, I want to put some twigs in, kind of going in between each one of these sections. So I'm going to grab my little twig piece, pull it out, and we will start to make our own little clusters of twigs. Super easy to do. Just take and cluster it like this. Bring it on itself, so you make kind of a little loop with the tail. So when this goes in, it's a little cluster like this. Now, how you hold that together is you need a cable tie. So I'm going to grab one right here and just make myself a little cluster of twigs. So anytime you work with a drapey type product, there's times you don't want it to drape quite as much. You can make your own little cluster. So I just cluster that up just like that, and we're going to put that main stem. We need that main stem because it's strong, and that's going to go right in front of the little feet over here, and we want it just to pop over the edge. Oh, so cute. Let's make another little cluster for the other side. I gotta grab some more cable ties. Here they are. All right, now let's put one on that side. So I'm gonna cut another long one. And basically I'm trying to get that strong stem. And then we can just let it kind of drape over. Let me cut it a little bit. Let me take a little bit out. Tell you what, the stem is still strong here. So I can use this kind of standing up in the arrangement, and I'll take a couple of these more drapey ones and attach it to here, okay? So basically just make your own little clusters. Loop it around. All right, we got our cute little cluster, and we can pop that in the design right there. It's fun to be whimsical with these pieces. I love that little touch. All right, let's get this tight. All right, and then we're gonna have this kind of come down, just like that. Cut the end of your cable tie off. Today I'm using the long ones because I have those in brown, and those will be so pretty coming in here. Just like that. Isn't that cute? Look at her. Look how cute. I'd like to go ahead and get our Scarecrow in. But before we do that, let's get her looking super cute. Let's jazz her up a little. So I'm just gonna lay her down. We're gonna give her a little light surgery. I think it's cute when her little hat kind of pops up a little bit, where we can kind of get it folded back. And because this hat doesn't have any wire built in, we're gonna take and just glue that down right here at the top. So I'll use my electric skillet with the hot glue, and we'll just bring that right into the top. Let's put a little of that coming out of the, I'm gonna put a little glue just gently up here. Now I don't want to push too hard because it'll push that up burlap, and then we'll push that right on top. You can add more florals and goodies. I'm gonna put let's put one on the other side, coming behind her. I'm just cutting off some little pieces from in the design. So I like that a little bit better. I can see her face better. And then I'm just gonna hold this here and let that get set up. And then once she's ready, we're gonna go ahead, and I like to kind of manipulate her arms a little bit, straighten out her dress, and then we're going to put her into our container. So we've got the front done, we got her little hat ready with the twigs, and now I'm ready to go ahead and put her right up here in that same section we talked about for our container. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put some glue on her feet just to get her, we can just glue her straight in, and then we're going to use a wire to secure her also. So let's dip her into our glue pot. Be careful because that's a lot of glue that's going to go under those little feet. Now I want you just to slide it off. Okay, in design school we use the electric skillet a lot to heat up our glue. It's just a really great way to manage our easy placement. Now you have to be careful if you're not using something size of Scarecrow. She's super lightweight, but if you put something heavy over here or backward, it could flip over your container. So always think about, okay, what am I using? How much weight do I have going? She's fine, that's gonna work good. Just because I like to double secure this, I'm gonna take, this is an 18 gauge wire, and we're just gonna take, and I'm gonna go around one of her cute little feet up here. And I'm just gonna do a little crisscross, so I've got enough wire to go into my base. So all I'm doing is crisscrossing it around. And then this can push into the base to help secure it right there. And I'm gonna do it on our other leg. Now you're not gonna see any of this, it's gonna be over here in the back. But now I have extra plans to hold her on, besides glue, just in case she were to get picked up by her head and move her arrangement. So this is gonna push down into the foam. So I'm just kind of getting a little bend on it, and I wanna put a little glue on the ends before I push it in. Okay, so that's kind of our backup plan. I'm always teaching you to have a backup plan for placement, security. I'm not big on just shoving things in, putting glue in. We have a lot of strategy when it comes to placement, why we're putting things where we're putting them, the lines we're creating with our design, all of that stuff, because you guys can continue to improve your creations, whether you're making it for yourself or you want to sell them or you want to learn all the things and do videos and have, you know, your own social media where you're creating. I'm going to help you learn how to do all that properly. So she's in nice and strong. She's got her backup plan and she's looking super duper cute. We're going to put a bow in, okay? Because it's going to fill up a lot of real estate. And I think I want the bow to be like right about kind of here, tucked in to her feet. I need to leave some room beside her because that's where we're putting this bush. So we've got a whole plan here. What I want you to do with this is take, if you need the link to how to make this bow, just let us know in the comments. But I want you to take one of your extra spare pieces of wire that you cut off another stem. That's what I'm using here. It came off this long one, has a nice long piece of wire. And we're just gonna take and tie this cable tie on there so that we get a nice long stem where I can place it in our arrangement. Now, get it tight, put a little glue on that end because we're gonna make sure it's not gonna pull out. And we don't want it coming out, gotta stay in there, otherwise it'll be yanking off your whole design. Okay, just wiggle that around a little bit. Okay, she's in, our cute little bow is ready, and we're gonna put her in right there. So I'm gonna just rotate her kind of to the top of this wire and bend her just a little bit. I gotta give her a little bend. There she is, good. And I'll put her in right there. And I'll make her a little bit shorter. All right, now the next move is to put a little glue on the end of the wire. I'm bringing the glue to it just because it can end up getting all these tails in your arrangement. We don't want that. So that's kind of gonna go to the front here and tuck in right by her feet. I'm leaving this space open because that's where we're gonna be coming in here in the back, and we're gonna be putting that big floral bush, okay? So Bo's in, she's looking so sweet here. She's so cute. She got a pumpkin in her hands. Now we're ready to use this big floral bush. Okay, so I'm gonna put her to the side for a second while we prep this one up. Basically, I want you to hold it up. If it were to be this length and is that long enough, that's a little bit short. I'd like it to be a little bit higher than her and a little bit of combo of both. So what we're gonna wanna do is try to tear this so we can get a little longer wire. So usually when you tear down a bush, you can get a longer wire. And that's what we're gonna try to do here. So I'm gonna tear them all. And then you do have to trim the little messy part off at the bottom because you wanna be able to have a clean way to put it in your arrangement. So just break that down, take off those last couple of inches so they're still very long. And we've kind of done that with the entire bush. Now, let me bring her back to the middle here and let's start to reconstruct this bush right beside her. All right, so the first piece that's gonna go in is gonna be the tallest. I'm putting that right by her head right here. This is so cute, look at her. All right, number one piece going in a little bit taller than her head, and that is perfect. There's another tall piece here too, and we're gonna sort of put those back to back so we have them right next to each other. So you're kind of paying attention to the length of the stems when we got them off that bush, and we're gonna take and now work a little shorter. So when I bring this one in, let's take a look. Oh, perfect. You see how it's a little shorter? Coming a little lower. That's exactly what we want. And I'm tucking this right in front of the bow, right beside her. See how cute that's coming together? All right, I'm gonna bring it in. If it's a little tall, like I'm ready to go lower, I'm gonna cut a little off and we'll just let this start to go a little bit lower. We've got a couple high, but that's enough. Then we're ready to rock and roll lower. I think I'm gonna put one more lower, and then I'm already ready. I wanna take a little of this bush, and let's pretend like this grew right up beside her, but a little bit grew over here too, because that's cute. A little bit grew on this side, so we're gonna cut these shorter, and these are gonna come over here down to where her feet are. Because she's in a sweet little Scarecrow fall garden. So you got some cute flowers growing in here with her. And that's gonna just pop out this side, just a touch. Just a touch. You can give those a little bend to kind of break the plane. Isn't that super cute? Look at her, she's looking so cute. Oh my gosh, super cute. Let me turn her to me just a little bit. Let me just double check. I think we'll put one more flower right here, kind of coming a little bit lower. So when I cut this one, I'm gonna get a couple of pieces, but I'll just keep them bundled together and hold it as a cluster. And we'll just put this in right here in front of her feet. We'll get a little bit of touches of that floral going in good. Yes, yes, she's looking so cute. All right, let's take our last floral bush. We're gonna need this to fill in the back and kind of clean up what we got going on back here. We just need a little bit back there and a little bit more to the front. So take this one and break it down. Don't forget to save this good wire. This one has a good wire that we can reuse like we used to put the bows on. So definitely do that. We're gonna clean off that nasty part of the paper because we don't want that just building up and you know, getting in our glue. All right, so let me pick what I think is my shortest piece, and I'm gonna use that kind of in the front, and I want it to kind of cascade out over the other sections that we already had. Now I accidentally just pulled that leaf out, and that's fine. I'm gonna thin it out a little bit. I'm gonna pull both of those leaves out because we'll use those in a second, but I wanna just get to the pretty filler part here so that I can layer that on top of these other leaves we already got in here. So basically you guys can take a part of pick anytime and use part of it in one section of the design and part in another. Okay, let's do that again. I'm gonna keep the leaves off, pull the green pretty rose leaf off, just pull it straight, it should pull out. Easier said than done sometimes, right? Might have to tear it. Has a good wire. You can cut it too also if you want, just cut it right here. I just want to try to get some of that good wire because it'll be easier to reuse. You know, where I'm going to put it in here. All right, turn in front of me again. Oh, you're looking so cute. Let me fluff your bow just a little. I'll bring my bow down just a hair. All right, I want to use another piece of the twig kind of coming over her little feet over here. gotta move this out. That was kind of tucked under her dress. Now there's not a lot of places to go, but I'm gonna go right between her feet here into the foam. And then that can kind of come out. Okay, see how cute she's looking now? She's looking good. Now, I saved all these leaves. These can go in the back here. Remember, I don't need to use anything fancy in the back. These are the same color palette. So I'm gonna tuck these right back here by me. And what we're doing is we're using these as a filler right now. So they're just filling in, okay? So there goes one. All right, here goes two. Right in here. Okay, I'm gonna turn her around again so I get the last two in. She's spinning. She's spinning with us. You want to hear that crunch into the foam so you know it's going in nicely. Here comes one more. I got a little glue string going on. So we separated the leaves because you know what? We wanted to see a little more, I want to be able to see these fun fillers and not, you know, layer up the leaves at that point. She is cute, guys. Okay, one more pick. I do have more twigs. Now, I've been using this bunch of twigs on a couple of different projects. So we could even make a cute little twig bunch for the back here. Let's do that. Here's that longer piece we had where we said we're going to put some twigs kind of shooting up. So let's do that. Let me see how tall this one could be. So you need a little strength to hold it up. So you have to kind of trim it to where they're not too floppy. Because this bush is really made just to stand up and not it's made to hang down, not stand up. But you can trim it off and still get like a few cute little spiky bushes. So let's put those in here. I'm going to do that right now. Because I love adding twigs, whether they're artificial or real twigs. They're some of my favorite things to add to your piece, especially fall and Christmas, because it's just that natural vibe. I love that. Come in here, baby. This one, I'm just putting one on either side of that cluster we have made at the beginning. Isn't she cute? Look how cute she's getting. Y'all, I can't wait to see yours like this. Okay, now I've got some floppy twigs here still. Let me pull that off. If you see that, that's like a support piece when they're molding these florals. So if you ever see like a piece of plastic that doesn't belong, you can just pull that off. All right, I need one more piece that stands up. Let's see how much height he can take. Let's try here. Cut those off. So I'm just cutting it off to where I get a nice strong piece. There we go. So these could be my floppy ones that go in that hang over the edge. And I'm going to put this one, let's see, we'll put one more right beside her right here. That'd be a perfect little spot to add a little more twig by her body. Because this one we can kind of make her hand, put it up by her hand right here. We put one a little lower, but this one's a little taller. Okay, look how cute. It's up here by her hand. Doesn't that look great? Okay, we're gonna make a little twig cluster now with a couple of these pieces. So I'm gonna take and cluster a couple, and we're gonna have these kind of come out of the back. So let me push these into the foam right here. I'm gonna put this in the back right by her shoes. Okay. So we got some twigs rocking right in the middle here. And then let's put a little each of these on either side. Okay, I'm gonna just glue this one in over here. This one I gotta get in that section right between her feet, which we can do, and it can come out on that side. And then let's have this one over on the right. I think we're kind of in the home stretch, and she turned out so cute. I've got one pick left that we probably will take and divide up. And maybe put like a little bit of berry here in the back, because she looks pretty good as far as her berries. Oh, let's put a little in between the bow. I changed my mind. Let's kind of what we call break the plane of the bow. So we break it up a little bit with some floral or greenery. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna pull out the leaf again. So this we can use in the back, but I wanna use these fun little pieces to break the plane of the bow. So what I'm gonna do is cut this into a couple of sections so I can easily work with it. A tall one and a short one. All right, and this kind of came apart a little when I was working with it. If you wanna make your own little cluster, just take one of the strong wires, just go around, okay? And now you've made your own little cluster without having to get any more equipment or anything. We just worked with what we had. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer this between the bows. So this is going to go in here. Kind of, I'm getting into the foam. And then we're going to pull that through. See how we can pull it out right there, and it's kind of coming out of the bow. So it gives the impression that the flowers just grew all in around the whole arrangement. Let me look at it one more time. Let's do one over here on the other side. Give that a swirl. And I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna turn her back to you just a second. This one, I don't wanna burn myself. I gotta see what I'm doing. And then pull that up through the tails of the ribbon. So that's coming up through the loops and the tail, and you can see how cute she is when you add all that dimension and these twigs and these fun pieces. Oh my goodness, Blue Merinos, look what we're gonna make today. This gorgeous wreath. Yeah, it looks like a gorgeous fall, really neutral color design, but it's not just a wreath for your door. Guess what? We're gonna make it together, and it is gonna be an epic candle ring for a really big, like 6-inch candle. This here is a battery operated one, and it works great right in the center of this. And yep, I'm going to show you how to make it. This all comes in a kit right here from Keleas.com. So you can easily put this together just like I'm doing step by step. And when you buy the kit, we send you a link to the video, so you won't have to worry about, hey, how do I find this video again, Keleas? You will have it in the kit, and you can come back and make it with me step by step. So the first thing we would do, just like in design school, is we're going to do what we call set our perimeter. And that's what we're going to do with this really pretty lantern spray. And I love it because it has a whole bunch of twigs on here, which gives us all this dimension. Now we're going to use the smaller wreath base. That is perfect for our candle to go in. And with these, you can just tear them down to start prepping them to put on, and it makes it super duper easy. And I'm going to cut off this top one, and then we can work on going all the way around our perimeter. Y'all, lately I know there's been a lot of folks who've been having a lot of trials with the weather issues and life issues and health issues, and you may be one of those people right now that I'm talking with. And I hope that when you're here, you find some peace and comfort, knowing that you're going to get back to your craft, and you're going to get back to what you love the very, very most when you have time and you're able to. So I want to encourage you, when times are tough or things are out of your control, to remember, hey, I'm going to go escape into my craft room and create something beautiful, because that's literally what crafting is about, and creating. So I just want to encourage you, no matter what you're going through, you'll get back in there, you'll get to play again. And it's a great therapy to be creating, you know, to do this for yourself. And of course, you know, I have turned this into a business, but it's okay if you just want to enjoy it as a hobby. It is totally all right. Now you can see, once I cut all those pieces down, my next objective is to take and just trim up the wires a little bit on the bottom, keep them really neat, and curl up these little twigs. I love the daintiness of these twigs. I don't know if you can see that, but that's going to be a big asset when we get ready to work with these, because they're going to help bring in that twiggy background to the foreground of the design. And that always makes things more cohesive looking, more depth in your design. And I love it. Just going to take and get that. One of these flowers bit the dust. I'm going to pull that out. And let's trim these two down too. So I kind of got them all uniform length by trimming them down here. And it'll be ready to start to make our perimeter. All right, so now we're going to do that perimeter where we take and set it. So I'm going to give these a swirl in the glue, and then we're going to start to just work around to the outside of our design. I find it easy just to grab a piece. Let me bring these over here and spin it around. And I've got my glue skillet right here. And I'm just bringing these in and working my way all the way around. So we get a nice outside set. Now, your kit doesn't come with Spanish moss, but if you have any around, the Spanish moss, if you just make some little bitty balls of it, it can help hold your pieces in place. So I'm just making a little ball, putting it in there, and you can utilize that anywhere you're seeing a lot of glue, or your piece is in an area that's a little more open, I love to use finished moss for that. But we're going to try to get these in where we have enough tension with the wreath. But if you don't, that's when it comes to the rescue. That's one of my staple wreath making tools. Besides wire cutters and my 18 gauge wire, I also am going to need Spanish moss on hand at all times. All right, we're going to work our way around. Man, let me get a little moss on this one. Sometimes if my glue gets a little unruly, those little bits help hide it. If you need to fill in a bigger space, I'm going to get a bigger wad of it, like to make a larger ball and put that in there. See how we kind of wiggle through? That's important to create that little bit of a tension. All right, let me move these aside a little bit. And if you wanted to make this bigger, you have a larger candle, what you're going to need to do is get a couple of kits so you can double up on the supplies. And this one only comes with a 10-inch wreath base, but you can always, if you had 2 kits, you could use the 10-inch wreaths for something else and substitute like a 14-inch wreath base. So if you need something bigger, you can accommodate that by getting a couple of kits. Okay, let me just cover up my glue right here. A little bit of pieces. Here's a little twig that was in the moss. I'll add that in. Why not? The pieces here. All right, let me show you what we got. Okay, so you can see we've come way off the base. So we started at 10 inches here, and we're a good, we're probably a good 8 more inches. So this wreath is pushing 24 inches now, all the way to the outside, okay? Which is beautiful for a table, and it's going to be just the right scale for our big chunky candle. And we put this guy in here. So you don't want to make it too little. All right. So now we're ready to add our next layer. And our next layer is these really cool poppy pots. And I love this because these have a little bit of a lighter colored greenery. And they have this little grass and of course the beautiful poppy pot. All that's going to add excellent texture on here. So I'm going to take this and just tear this right down. Tear it down, tear it down, tear it down. And then we're going to trim all these off. So I'm going to do that and move my wreath out of the way, and we're going to prep these. Y'all, I've been meaning to tell y'all, as you know, I keep struggling with different health issues with my body and getting older. I always want to give you encouragement too, to find something you love doing. At least I love my job here and teaching you all how to make these things. I should say y'all. What the heck? I'm from Texas. Why am I not saying y'all? I love teaching you this, and I'm so thankful that you're a viewer and you come and watch and you want to learn more and you enjoy creating. Even if you never create and you just come and watch, I appreciate it so much. And any creative, if they're on the social medias, how much that means to them if you're watching and interacting and commenting on the videos and taking action, liking, sharing, all that kind of stuff. I want to assure you that matters a whole lot, and we are very, very thankful for that. So even if it's, of course, I appreciate it for me, but doing it for someone else is so wonderful and such a blessing. So I try to do that for my favorite YouTubers I like to watch, or my favorite folks on TikTok, or here on Facebook as well. Wherever they are, I appreciate them. Because I couldn't live in my dream without you. So, know you're appreciated. I just want to make sure I remind you of that. And try to do that for others as well if you can. It doesn't cost a dime to just interact with their videos. So see, I took and broke it down. We just have all the green pieces over here and all the pods over here. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to equally distribute them around our whole circumference of our wreath. So all the way around. So I'm going to bring this back to the center, and we're going to use this one first, the greenery, okay? The reason we're doing that is we want to layer the colors to have a little depth, okay? This is the type of stuff I teach in design school, and we practice what we preach. Now, if you want to practice kind of laying it out here, we can just lay it on top to get an idea, and then we can come back and glue it. Just to kind of give you an idea of where everybody would go and get pretty good spacing. So basically 3 on half, 3 on the other half. Simple as that. So we laid it out. Now, here's where the magic comes into play. When I get ready to put it in, I'm going to give it a little twist up, okay? The florals we sell on Keleas.com always have a nice wire. I'm really adamant about that. So you're going to see a lot of depth and texture capability because we can give them a bend. So we're going to go around doing that with a little bit of bend on all these guys. I might have bent that one a little heavy. A little heavy bend. You can come down a little bit, buddy. Happy. That stem was wired. Alright, let's bring this one in here. This is just paper off a stem. Just get it out of your way whenever it gets in your way. Now, once again, if that glue gets unruly and more in the front here, grab some more of your Spanish moss. You grab a whole handful here. I'm just using my little bits right now, so it's a little flaky. I need to restock my moss on the workbench. A little bit right here. But I saved those little pieces too, because they'll work for this. Alright, come on, let's put the next piece in. Give it a swirl in your glue, and then we're going right in right here. Excellent. A little bit of moss on there. And I do want to move those up, like get some motion. There we go, beautiful. And we're kind of working them in between our lanterns. A little bit of overlap, but working them in between. Pretty. And here's one more right here. You see how pretty this is, and really not that difficult. Just takes a little patience to prep the material. And we're gonna space this out and give them all a little bit of motion. I'm gonna pull a little of the twigs to the inside on those lanterns, because I want to make sure we're not hiding that. And that twig is coming forward, because it's always my favorite part. Ask those KDS Bloomeritos in design school. I'm telling you, they know I love a good twig. I like real twigs, fake twigs, artificial twigs. We can make twigs. I love them all. Okay, look how pretty. Beautiful layered up. Now, easy enough, we're going to go in between each one of those with our pods here. Okay, just go in between each one. And these I'm going to work a little bit more towards the center. Okay, they have a pretty leaf, so I like that leaf working on the grapevine. You can just rotate this around. We're going to go in between each green one. All right, push it in. Beautiful. And you see how that's laying on top, and now that's really effective because we're bringing in the lighter color. Now, it's no accident that lighter color is in the background. When you get a kit from us, guys, all the hard rough work is done. Like the color coordination is all ready for you to rock and roll on your design. And that's some of the hardest part. And eventually, I'd love for you to learn, how to do that in design school. But while you're getting started and you're wanting to explore and experiment with different designs, I would love for you to get one of our kits and give it a try. You're going to be shocked what you can do on your own with a great starting foundation. This one is sitting up high. Come on, buddy, go down a little bit. There you go. You can bend that wire. And we just want to make sure it's just all curving around real beautifully. I'm also a big stickler on the leaves. I want to make sure I get that front of the leaf facing forward. And I'm going to go down in here, push that in. Beautiful. We keep working around. Here we go. Let's push it in here. Nice. Just keep going in between. Got two more. That's going to work perfect. And I always have to kind of go behind with the longer stem where it's going to be falling in the wreath, because I want it to fall over here between these two. Oh, that looks really pretty. All right, once I get all of these in, I have 2 twigs left. And they're like little grasses. They're not actually twigs, they're grasses. Oh, these are so stinking pretty. I love them on there. Okay, this is like a wheat grass. We had 2 that came on the pod, so I want you to look around and see where you might have not as much grass. I feel like our grass is right over here, but we could use them more over here. So we're going to kind of fill in with these, and they're going to go in the background right next to where we put in the original lantern sprays in the back. All right, let's put this one a little further down. I'm going to trim it a little bit. If you get a kind of a janky stem, just trim it down. Let's go. Are you catching the spirit yet? Oh, I know. It's hard when it's 90 degrees out here in Houston. It's hard to catch the spirit of the season, but it's coming. Eventually it's coming here. Depending when you watch this, it might already be there. But if not, you can make this too for, you know, any season really. But if you have this color palette, it doesn't even have anything fall in it. It's just kind of that color palette. Look how beautiful, guys. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Now, our last step, we're going to use these little berry clusters. And this is because I like to use a detail piece more to the center in here. And this is kind of not that impressive of a spray, but when you push these leaves up and you make these little berry clusters, it's really kind of cool. Until you do that, you're like, what is this? But once I make them into clusters like this, they are adorable. So I'm going to push up every one of these, and you get 4 bushes in this kit. Y'all, and if you are not on our text list and you're enjoying this video, grab a spot on it, because what we do on the text list is we text out when new videos come out and new content is ready for you. And of course, when we have new kits and new goodies that are available, we're going to promote all of that with our text list. So we'd love for you to be on it. You can go to textkelea.com, textkelea.com, or you can just text us the word VIP, like the letters VIP, to 832-734-5201. That's my text number. And send us VIP, and we'll shoot you back a one-time coupon that you can use on your first order. And we'd love for you to give it a try. All right, I'm trimming all these off. Okay. So my bushes are all trimmed down. And now I'm going to take, and I'm just going to use them in 2s, and we're going to start to go around towards the center. So I'm going to load in my glue and just work in around the center, keeping these really wispy here in the middle. Oh yeah. And I'm going to use a couple at a time. I like them a little bit more clustered than loose. Alright, and we're just going to work backwards. We put that first one on, and then we're going to work backwards around the wreath. So this one lays over where the last one's glue was, okay? And that'll help camo all of that as you go along. Let's work our way around. Let's go. Okay, cute. My little cluster. Get a good amount on there. Y'all, my glue is unplugged, so I can bring it up here to y'all. So it's getting a little warm. I mean, a little cold. It means it's getting a little hard. Oh, but that's okay. I can heat it right back up if I need to. You love your little glue pot. It's so handy. I have a big one and a little one, depending what we are making. If we're making a bunch of wreaths to sell, then I got that big one out so we can rock and roll. When I'm doing videos, the smaller one's a little more convenient just because of its size here. You know, it doesn't take over the whole screen on camera. Oh, I love this berries towards the center. It rocks. Because it's totally just that little delicate touch here at the end of the design. So, yeah. Keep swirling them around. These pieces I put in first are cut a little bit longer. I'm going to see if they'll work, but we may have to trim them down. Let's see if we have enough here. Okay, now I'm going to go from there on this side now. And just tuck this under this leaf. Put that in. Just kind of bring that over. There we go. Yeah, we're making that work. I've got 2 more pieces to go. I think we'll be perfect. And if you're worried about your spacing, it's totally okay to just lay it out first and then glue it. We talk about that in design school a lot. Just because I've been doing something a long time, I don't have to do that extra step. But if I feel uncertain if I'm going to have enough or whatever, then it's absolutely fine to do. When you get more confident and you know you're going to be able to do it, then you can do it without the laying out first. It's fine. Oh my gosh, y'all, look how beautiful. I'm going to bring these poppy pods up a little bit. Holy moly. So cute. Look at the dimension on this. Look how just so beautiful it is. I will encourage you to check out the finished pictures on this. When you head to the website, you can see the finished pictures there of it all staged up. But let's do it. Let's put it in. Oh, check it out. That is gonna be perfect. Put her in, bring the berries up around the candle. We nailed it. I think this is so fun because not only can it be a wreath, it also can be a gorgeous candle ring. And this is a 6-inch pillar, so this is a big battery operated candle. And you know what? That looks just stunning. Stunning. Look at it. It's Keleas here. Hi guys! I'm gonna bring my camera over and move you in close. And we'll talk about what we're gonna do with this pumpkin today. Because I'm thinking we're gonna have a lot of fun. And we're gonna make it really detailed, which sometimes I don't do that because I'm about fast and quick, but I feel like I want to make this one have a lot of fun detail to it. So let me grab my bow maker. Anything else I'm going to need, and we're going to get you set up. Let's talk a little bit about what comes in this kit. It's got a nice little assortment of pieces that come in it, and you can go big and bold and over the top, or you can keep it smaller and more detailed. I tried to make the kits pretty generous so you would have extra. If you decided you wanted to go simple, you would still have extra pieces to make something to match with them. So our ribbons here, we went with it, basically 3 different plaids, which you might think, you can't do that, but yeah, you can. For fall, it's a lot of fun. And then I thought, this is great. If you got into the other kits, all of these will mix and match with the ribbons in the other kits. So I wanted to make sure, you didn't have anything too rogue, where it could work all together. So you're going to get all 3 rolls of ribbon. You get the big pumpkin base in this kit. And then we're working with the berries again. And these are the berries that are so fun to break down small, okay? I love those. Then we've got our favorite greenery with the little pip berry in it. And then we have 2 of these sprays too that have the sunflowers and all the good twigs. So this is loaded with premium supplies. So I know we're going to make a beautiful piece. So let's start with our bow, I think, first. For this design, I'm thinking like a lantern swag, but I am going to build it right on the pumpkin instead of having it removable, because I want to sell it where it's just they buy the whole piece, right, and they take it with them. That's what I have in mind, and it has this little ridge right here that I think would be perfect to put a little piece of foam. So I'm thinking one piece right here would probably do us. We might put another one like right on top, a little piece there, and we would be good to go, okay? Just a couple little pieces. But when there's a ridge or an area for it to sit in, it'll help it wedge in there even better. Now you can leave these leaves or take them off. It's up to you. I think I'm going to take them off. I may put them back in, or I may just leave them off, because I'm in the mood to do a bunch of detail on here and small pieces and really get in, into my zone. It's a cool little twig though. So save these. You can use these. Like these would be great to embellish a scarecrow head. Little bitty pieces like this are fun. They're different textures because they're metal. Or you can just leave it on there too and work it into the design. Getting out my bow maker. For this bow, I'm just going to go funky bow right here. And maybe a couple of little trailers. But I use it a 2.5-inch ribbon. And if I use that as a tail, it's going to be a little bit too fat. So I'm going to kind of plan out my tails as I do my bow. Okay, we're going to have like a whole strategy here. But you know what? Let me go ahead and let's put on our let's put on our foam first and get that started. So I like to use Gorilla Glue underneath here. And I'm thinking a little piece here. And these are not super duper fat. See, they're a little bit skinny. So that way I'm not trying to have this big old piece coming off. They're kind of slimmer. All right, I'm going to trim this one down too. Well, poor Honey Bunny, he's been sick, but I just sent him to the store because we ran out of dog food for Ari and Nori, and we got my mom's dog, and we cook it for them. And we cooked a bunch before we left, but I think my dad was spoiling the hell out of those dogs. I think They each gained like a pound since we've been gone. Because those cuties, he went through all the food we sent. So, Lord, I sent him to go, we got to cook some more. So he went to get some turkey, some sweet potatoes for those girls. So the kid is not the only things that's spoiled around here. Are y'all's animals spoiled too? And I think I know the answer, but tell me what kind of spoiling you do for them. Okay, I'm just putting this down flat so I can get this to set up. This is the Gorilla Glue. And then I'll put hot glue over it. Excuse me. And I did notice they did not have that multi-pack anymore at Sam's Club the other day. So I guess I'm gonna have to pay, full price for it. I like my deal from Sam's. No such luck anymore. So I got a good amount of glue on there, and I'm just gonna wiggle that in where it just sits right in here next to that edge. And then I want to be able to put this at the top, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. There you go. And I'm scraping it off, but I'm still leaving like a nice little coat on top. Okay, I'm gonna wiggle it in. I'm gonna let it go down for a second, and then we're gonna pick it up because I don't want it dripping through the back. There you go. You see a little drippies there? I'm gonna grab moss on those right now where they show. Because you know why? It's just easy. It's coated with glue right now. Just tack a little moss on it. And I'm not covering the foam at all. I'm just going back here where the little bit of glue is showing. Do not push that hard or you'll end up burning yourself. And now I'm just going to set it back down to let it finish drying. Okay, so that's prepping up, ready to go while we're going to make our bow. Okay, let's come over here. So I want to use that check ribbon because I need like a nice solid ribbon in the middle, but I don't want a whole bunch of tails with that. So these are just going to be funky bow tails that are pretty simple, and I'm just going to have one on either side. All right. So I'm dovetailing it, and I'm going to do that again because I cut off the edge. There we go. That's prettier. And we're going to go at 8 inches. Go to the center and twist. And I am going to take and make my loops now. Okay, 6 inches here and twist. I went almost, it's a little shorter than 6. Just to be honest, it's a little bit shorter. Now scrunch it down. And this tail's going to go down. Let's do it here. And I'm going to take and dovetail this one. So our first kind of back layer for the bow is started. All right, now I'm going to bring my next layer up, and I'm going to bring that cute little check in. And now I'm ready to kind of play with a little longer tail. All right. Now I'm ready to take it off that bow maker and bring it up and add some pressure. Get that tight. Oh, Honey Bunny made it back. So now I'm going to layer it out here. See, I'm going to put the tails up. This plaid loop's going to go in the middle. So I'm going to make sure I got that right in the center. And then we're going to lay these over them. Just like that. I love that. I think it's a cute little combo with all the colorations. And I just thought it was a good thing to put in this kit because you probably have another color at home too you could mix it with. But I thought, let me give them all these textures because I think that just adds a little dimension to this piece, you know. All right. Now, you can pick what you want in the center to cover up our mechanics, but I think I'm going to go with that green and the check from the background. I always think that's kind of a classic look, so let's bring that in there. Let's bring that puppy in there, and then I'm excited to start on this with y'all. So sometimes, if I don't need a lot of ribbon, I'll just split a ribbon down the middle, which those of you who have been here a long time have seen me do that. But I don't always use the fullness because guess what? Now I can do 2 centers right out of this. So if I'm trying to maximize my ribbon, or I'm going to make several of these, I want to make sure it goes a long way. I'm always thinking about, okay, I could just split that ribbon down the middle. Or if it's an expensive ribbon, you know. There we go. We're going to go in the center and run that down the middle. That's just so stinking cute. And that really finishes out our center. Y'all, when we were at Disney, anytime I saw a bow, I was like, I need to redo that bow for them. They need my help. Let me help them. Oh my goodness. All right, there's our cute little bow. And we're probably going to put a wire on the back of that eventually, but right now our bow is ready and we got that done. So let's bring our pumpkin back to the main scene here. Here's our pumpkin. We already put our foam on and we're ready to go. Let me move the camera up a little because I'm going to scoot up a little bit. And I'm going to put my bow just off to the side. And we're going to start with our greenery. And we're going to do like we normally would on a wreath. We'll set our perimeter with our first greenery and then we'll work from there. All right, I'm going to pull these down. All right, I'm going to start to shake hands with this and we're going to start to shape it out. And I want that leaf to the back, the rose leaf to the back, and all the pretties to the front. And the reason I'm kind of adamant about layering that way is so I get that pretty softness on the top, okay? All right, let's kind of come to the middle of our foam here to start this out, and I'm going to get my shape. So there's my first section, okay? And before I go too far up, let's talk about where that bow is going to go. We could have chose anywhere. We can put it right here, which would be adorable. So if we do that, we know we're going to need some greenery here and some greenery above it, okay, to kind of start to set our transitions. Now, the question was asked earlier today, hey, why don't you just go ahead and put that in? And to me, the reason I don't is because I'm working behind it the whole time and it's easier for me to construct. But it's also a lot easier for you to see what I'm doing without doing that, okay? So I'm going to leave the bow out and we're going to start continuing building up the perimeter, okay? So I know I need this piece to kind of go up high, to party up high, yeah. Party, party. I'm going to separate these out. Yep, and just bring these to the foreground. Look at that. How cute is that? And we're going to come up pretty high here. And if you need to bring your bow back, bring your bow back. Take a look at it, okay? Yeah, that'd be fine. So I'm going to kind of stay in that swag shape and work off the top. And we can make these very quick and fast and easy, but I'm going to do it with more detail. So that means I'm going to go a little slower and build smaller pieces to get that really wispy look. All right. Kind of the feeling of a lantern swag. But what's going to allow us, because we're building it on foam, we're going to have the ability to make it more detailed. So more smaller pieces that are going in there that we're going to break up a little bit. So we get that really pretty wispy feel that I love. And makes it just kind of special. So I have one going up, one going down. We're going to need a little bit more. We're going to fill that in a little bit more. I'm going to use this one down from the center, so right where it's going to transition. We're going to have it come right in here, okay? So I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Well, you know, at Disney, they have so many things that they use on different exhibits, and they are doing a new ride called Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And Tiana's my favorite princess. And the reason she's my favorite princess is because she's a working girl. That girl got a job, a dream, and she's almost there. So she's my favorite princess. And we are pass holders, so pass holders got a preview of it. It's kind of a lotto, and we did get it. Kaya got on there and got it that one day. And they have some of the neatest, like they've come so far on some of the greenery and things that they're using that give that illusion of a flower, but it's very much plastic in the way it's cut out. But all the texture of it is so neat. I thought, oh wow, the technology's really coming along, even in the theme parks with the artificial flowers they're using. So I'll be curious. I'm sure that may not be cost effective to bring out to the major markets, you know, like to you and me, but I'll be curious to see if we see some of that trickle down to it. All right, I pulled most of that off. Now I've got these actually individually. I'm gonna come in here to the right. And we'll kind of circle back around here. All right, so let's bring our bow back and see if we like that so far. Oh yeah, that's cute. That's fine. So you can see I've set my perimeter. I'm happy with the distance everything is. Okay, so now I'm going to build from here. Let's take these pieces that are extra, and I'm going to hold these off because we're going to use these more in the foreground. We're going to switch to a different texture, and then we'll bring these more to the foreground when we get to that point. All right, now we're going to use this one. This one has all the fun greeneries. It's got this really cool mustard little grass in here, so we're going to go to town with this one now. So I'm going to try to keep it somewhat clustered if possible, and don't go into all the little pieces to start, okay? And then we can do some cuts to make some, you know, little sections here. So this one, see how I can divide it into 3 sections? I'm going to do that right here. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, look at that one. That's going to be a good one, okay? So I'm going to break them down. Here's one of the bigger sections. And I am going to leave this one big first, because I think it's easy to work in between each one of these sections. And the only thing we're going to do different is, because this is the perimeter, that's the longest points out, we got to back these up, okay? So you may have to take a little off the bottom, but I want to leave as much of the cluster together as possible. So here, like, I'm going to have to take off this section, and we'll use it separate, and this will be separate, okay? So we're going to bring that in next. All right, let's go in between. It's got to be a little shorter, so that's why I'm coming back, right? See our line? Perfect. Nailed it. All right, and if you can see a bunch of glue here, put moss, but if not, just keep rocking around. We'll figure that out, covering up the mechanics later, all right? So this is kind of a mustardy color one, so we can kind of alternate those as we're putting them in the colors. Now this one I'd like to be right here, and that's a little too long, so we're going to do the same little trick. Just separate that out. We'll have this as a different piece, and we'll put that one in. I know, this one's going to be a lot of fun. It's not going to be a whip it outer, but I believe you'll be able to charge its worth in this one, because we're going to really put some detail into it. Once we start putting all those little berries in, it's going to pop big time. You're going to love it. And we're going to get the bow in eventually and work around that bow. All right. Sometimes I love just sitting, making these type of things, and just kind of getting into the process. Because a lot of times I'm a quick designer and I want to whip it out. And that's just because I have to do that when we're selling lots of something. It has to get made and out the door, right? But when we're doing something like this, we can sit down and enjoy the process and, you know, charge a little more for it for our time and get into the excitement of it. this one, I want to go between those. So we're going to do the same thing. Cut it here and we'll have that little smaller piece. And I'm going to shake hands with it. That's another thing that's going to set you apart from anybody else is you're taking the time to manipulate each wire the way it needs to go. So our transition, right, these come down this way, this kind of goes up, and then these go out to the right. So if I'm trying to put these in and these are going this way, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look clean and neat and finished. And it's taken me a long time. It's a simple concept, but it's taken me a long time to learn. Like, if everything just has its own little space here, how much prettier that is. Now, I've got all these pieces right here that have this cool little spiky, darker color, and we're going to evenly put those in right now. I'm going to just kind of work around the outside here. I'm going to bring one low right here. And if I can see how pretty that is right there. Oh, that's good. If I can see my my glue, I'm going to cover it up. Starting to cover that up. Here comes another one. Just layer it all in. Now I'm going to use my zigzag technique. So if this came to the front, the next one's going to go zigzag up. So I'm still zigzagging, right? Like a zigzag stitch. But I'm going to go to the outside. So this was to the inside, so this one's going to go to the outside. And that's how I'm going to get this color evenly distributed, and I'm going to inadvertently create triangles with it by doing that. Once you get the third one in. Okay, come here. Don't slide on me. There we go. So then you just started sliding backwards. I'm going to move that leaf to the back. Oop, I grabbed a little glue on there. All that's going to happen is I'm not going to glue the string. It's going to irritate me. I try to think out of the box, guys. I mean, you got to be different. You always got to be doing something a little different, and hopefully that encourages you to try something different. Okay, then we're coming back to the middle with the next one. And I'm going to take off this little leaf. I don't really need that on there. And we're going to cut this shorter. The warehouse has been a little short-handed. I've got Paul out with his poor grandfather's not doing well, so he takes care of his grandfather. So he's gone to help him. All right, zigzag, zigzag. So now going back to the outside, and now this is kind of going up. And you see how pretty? And I'm going to run out of red, but that's going to be beautiful because it's just going to be on this side, and I'm digging that totally. I'm loving that. We'll put the mustard on the other side. I didn't even have that planned, but that is going to be so pretty. Let's bring that up here. Just pop that in. Oh, how pretty is that? Turn that leaf around. I'm leaving the leaf on this time. If I don't like that leaf and the way it's sitting, I'm going to cut it out, but it's okay right now. Let's come on into the right. And we got 2 mustard pieces, and I'm going to cut those out right now. Okay? I'm just going to cut them into their own little sections. Trim them down, and those are going to go on the right. And then after that, we're going to get that bow in and start to put all of our berries and fun pieces in. Oh, let's come down here. Okay. Little leaf to the back. I like the leaves in the background. I don't really want them in the foreground. You know, because they're wider and they're going to cover up all our fun little picks. We have this available as a kit. So pretty cool. You get all of this. And you can use the pumpkin for something else if you don't want to. If you want to keep the pumpkin for you. Well, that's so pretty. I put the mustard here and the red over here. Okay, you can already see how full this is from all the wispiness we're putting on there, right? All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to put one more sunflower. I've got an orange, a mustard. So a mustard sunflower would go good right here to kind of get some good spacing. And this one's got a lot of nice greenery. And I'm making sure this stays longer. So I'm going to keep these shorter and up here. But see all that wispiness? It's really important to keep it really, really... That's where we're going to get that high-end look, is cutting the pieces, keeping them really... delicate looking, okay? Because we want to be able to command a higher price for this and look like a higher end piece anyway, okay? Bring this one down just a little bit. good. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to tuck it over here. Okay. Very good. Now I've got these pieces left, and I'm putting those with the other pieces that we had left from the pit berries and a little bit of greenery. Remember, we're going to work that all into the bow. All right, so this is all little things to use later. Okay. So now I'm going to put the bow in a second. But let me get some perimeter berries in, because and then I won't have to work around it. Sometimes detail work is not worth your time. I'm going to be honest with you, depending where you are in the money-making process. But other times it's real important. So just make sure when you're doing something like this, it's taking more time to put in. You're not just doing your normal markup, because I'm cutting these. I'm breaking each piece down. There's going to be a lot more time in the construction, if you know what I mean. So I've got to add in for those of you who are selling. Now, if you're just making it for yourself, go to town, detail it up, love every minute of the process, and just have so fun. All right, I'm going to take these and trim it off, and we're going to start to get these the right length as I put them in. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom, and we're going to start to piece it in. And I really want to layer these up. When I was getting these pieces and purchasing them to make this kit, I really wanted to showcase that dark orange in the back and then work with this lighter orange in the front with that little bitty mustard color too. I love that. So when we're putting these on, I'm doing the exact same thing with the zigzag. Okay? I'm zigzagging it in. Just working on placing it right in. Okay, and then I do want some in that midline too. Where this one we just went to the outside, I want to have a little berry in the midline. Let's have one more berry coming down. Like this is where it's going to really look over the top gorgeous when we get all these berries in here. I need this one kind of long, so I'm going to pull a little of that paper off. Let's go over here. Let's go on down, and I want these kind of in the foreground, but I'm also okay with some of them being a little bit back there. See, it's kind of tucked in there. Oh, I just adore that. That's that killer depth. Okay, that side's looking good. Let's work on the top. So this one kind of already has a bend going this way, so it'll be perfect to go right in there. And I'm trimming it off and just dipping it in. Let's go right here. And I'm just going to kind of get the perimeter done here because I know a bow's going in. And I'm going to go right in the middle. Let's go in here. Beautiful. Let's go to the right. Let's go here. Now this one I'm going to give it a little bit of bend, and we're going to do that same thing. And remember, we set that perimeter with the greenery that we started with. So we don't have to, go out further than that. We're staying tighter. That's where a lot of people go wrong when they're trying to do something like this. It ends up looking like a peacock because they go way too far out. So you want to keep it tighter. And here I'm trying to make sure that I don't get this side too far down. I want to because I started having so much fun making it. But nope. All right, that leaves me a handful of berries to put in after we get our bow in. Let's get our bow in next. Let me show you how good this looks. So this looks real good. See how wispy it is? Yeah. You know what? The problem is every time we make one of these, I want to keep it. All right, the bow's going to go right in there. So we're going to take and tie this up, and I'm going to put in a wire in the back, and I'll just use one of my stems that I have saved here from earlier. We're going to make our own floral pin. All right, so I made my little wire pin, but it's a little too long. I could have maybe used a regular floral pin, but this is, I need it to come out a little bit, not suck in there too much. Okay. Now let me decide what direction. I think I have this option, or I think I want it this way. I think I like that bow just doing that. That's cute as can be. All right, let's get that dang glue on those pieces here. That's the way you want it, right? Let's push her in. Please go in easily.
There she goes. Oh my gosh, that's so stinking cute. Let me fix her a little bit. So once you have that bow, I want to bring the bow back down. I'm going to bring it in. I put it a little too high. It needs to be down a little bit, okay? So let me bring it back out before it gets too glued in. Wiggle gently before it gets too glued in. There we go. Okay, we're going to try it a little lower. I want it right here. I'm just going to pull off that glue and we're going to try it again. Okay. I really like it with two things open, but I think we can get it. Let's try again. Bring this over. Here we go. Now be careful when you're doing this. Is a easy way to burn yourself. Hold on to it and press it in. Let's see if that works. Yes. All right, come on. I want that little piece going up. This little piece going down. Look how cute this is. Oh my word, this is so fun. I'm going to take and work this in a little bit to this wispiness instead of covering it up. I'm going to try to work it in there. There you go. Now, don't fluff your bow too much because we still got pieces to put in. We're going to squash it. But that turned out perfect. Okay? And we really didn't cover up too much, so I'm happy with that. Now let's come in and add our pieces into the bow. So cute! I'm going to hold her. Now, you do have to be careful that you don't have too much going forward because she has a fat bottom and flat, so she is pretty stable, but if you start getting a bunch of weight this way, she may want to walk on you, okay? So, let's take, and I'm going to add some of my berries into the bow, and you are going to have some pieces left in the kit. Of course, you'll have plenty of ribbon, so you can make some little lantern swags or make some pieces to coordinate with this, with what you have left, and just kind of play. I'll put this berry in here, and you see I want to start to work them into the bow. And then it doesn't look like the bow's just put on there. It looks like the bow is part of the design. Let's come on this way. We're not quite done. Got a little more detail work to work in here, in between everybody. Keep working that coming out of that ribbon. All right, let's add a little bit of these greener pieces here. I can't wait to put that little mustard stuff in here, this stuff. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. Let's take this and work this in here. All right. I'm gonna put one coming out the bottom of the bow, which is kind of like this way. So we're gonna go under here and find the foam. Just push it in. I'm sorry if my head's getting in there. It's getting serious right here. Okay. Oh, yes, that's perfect right there. You bring that out of there. That's cute. Isn't that cute? Let's put this little poofy part right there. And I got a little pumpkin, too. Here. This little pumpkin. That's so stinking cute. Let's put that right in the middle. Y'all, this is so fun. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited. And when we started the video, there were a few left of this kit, so you might still be able to grab one, but they may all be gone. A little bit more berries coming in. Now, for some of you, it's a hobby, and some of you, it might be a stress relief, but for me, it's business, but it's also my favorite thing to do. So I love being here with you, and without you guys being here and wanting to learn, I would have no one to teach it to. And you know, I love it. So thank you always for being here. Okay, and you can sit here and add as much as you want. Look at the perimeter. I look like I could use a little more right there. So I'm going to take this little wispy piece and put it out there. I'm going to take off the sunflower, and we'll save that for something else, but I could use a little more wisp out there. So step back from your piece and take a look at it and see, okay, what else can I do here to finish that look? All right, let me come in I'm going to add this right here. This one kind of more in this area. Beautiful. Look how cute that is there now. Oh my gosh, y'all can have so much fun. Look how cute. We're going to use the 12-inch wreath. I took the supports off and I used some of this wreath the other day. I want this to be very natural, organic feeling, so I'm going to put in some of this vine to start off the project. So if you'll just take your piece and spread it out and start to kind of work with it. This is going to sound kind of hokey, but the vine will kind of talk to you and tell you what it wants to do. You see how this piece has lots of small vines? That's the best kind to use for these type of projects. So you can see I've got a nice section of vine here that would kind of work through my whole arrangement. So I'm just going to cut it right here. We don't need all of that. And we'll start working on it, okay? I'm just cutting this with my wire cutters. Another tool I like to keep around handy is just some regular cutters for the garden, some like snips. Now mine are out in the garden because, you know, my garden, I stole the ones from here for that. Okay, so I've got my foam in. I'm gonna go ahead and glue it in and get it prepped and ready to go. I do generally use my Gorilla Glue just because it's my backup plan. Y'all will hear me say that all the time. I have backup plans. That's just because of my history doing craft shows. People walking up, carrying your whole arrangement by one twig. I want to try to construct things that are going to last for the long haul. And not only is it going to make my customer happy, but it's also going to survive shipping. And if I'm making it for myself, I certainly want it to last a long time too, right? So I'm just putting some glue on here. If I had my larger glue pot, I still would have to do the same thing. All right, I'm popping her in. So a little Gorilla Glue and then our hot glue on top. Basically the Gorilla Glue is going to work later to secure it, but right now the hot glue is going to get it nice and hot. So the base is secure, we got it cut, we got it going in, and I am filling up most of the container with this. Now, we talked about I want the vine in here. This is grapevine and I want it to work to be really organic and naturey feeling. So I'm going to take and spread it apart, and we're going to just kind of see how it spreads apart. And it's kind of giving me a little bit of a loop on this side and a loop in the middle. And I think I can kind of work with that. So in order to secure this down in some of these places, we got a couple of options. We can start with it staple gunning it to the wood base, which would be fine. Or we could just kind of start securing some pieces into the foam. You got a couple of different options. But we need to cut it into those sections to kind of make this look happen. All right, and we're going to work the pumpkin into the middle. But where a bunch of the tension's occurring is right here at the center. So I'm going to cut this into some little bitty different sections. I'm going to come in here. And basically we're going to cut it into 3 different circles. So now that we took some of that pressure off, look how that'll lay down for you just fine, all right? And you can keep some of it connected, but we want it to be really easy to work with. And then I'm going to take this piece on this side, and that means if I cut this one, it should lay down pretty good. Okay, so I've kind of relieved some of the pressure on there. And I'm going to start to secure it in the middle with some wire. I just like this 18 gauge wire. It's the kind I use for hangers. Just regular 18 gauge wire. It's strong enough to hold its shape, but it's easy to manipulate. And that's what I like about that. It's my favorite gauge wire. Let's put it in to start holding this in place. So, okay, grapevines are a little bit ornery, but they're the least expensive type of vine you can add to your piece. If I were to use artificial vine, I love artificial vine because it's so easy to manipulate, but it's going to cost more. Okay, so I'm going to take my first piece and put it right in the middle, just like a big giant U-pin. And that's going to kind of hold that section in the middle now, okay, in place. Now, we're going to put some more pieces in a second, but I need to get that big pumpkin in there the way I want it so I can manipulate this around. So we're using a set of pumpkins that comes with 6 little ones and 1 big guy. And I want this guy to sit in this grapevine cluster kind of just like this off to the side. So this is going to go in on the right. So we're going to start off with a dowel. This is a dowel that you use for, that's what you use for, what do you call this? Barbecuing. So it's not really a dowel, it's called a
Shish kebab skewer. Skewer. Thank you. I couldn't think of it. Spit it out. So once you kind of establish your angle, we're going to skewer it in. Skewers are my favorite thing to use to hold pumpkins and stuff like that. And we're going to trim down the stem where it's long enough to get to that foam, but not so long it's not going to go in. Let's see if this will work. All right, so I talked about I like it a little bit at an angle. I want him just kind of tuck it up here and over to the right side. Okay, and as we start to work with that vine, we're going to work it in, but I'm going to go ahead and pin a little bit more of it down. All right, we're going to bring this twig down. I'm going to try to hold it in place a little bit. So I'm going to come in here with a floral pin that I made out of that wire. We're just going to try to hold these down just a little bit. We're going to have florals and stuff to help it stay down, but I want to kind of start playing with this a little bit. And you can kind of bend it a little. There we go. It's a little bit better. And this one I'm going to pull out a little. So the reason I'm doing this first is just it makes it a little easier to deal with it than putting it all in later. I'm going to push this one in the bottom of the pumpkin. Okay, cool. So you can see we're getting a good spread. We're going to be ready to put our florals in. Now, we've got our small pumpkins that we're going in, but we're going to be putting in these great ferns. And I picked out like a light coral berry in a bush to go in here too. So I've got my twigs where I want them. I've got my main pumpkin, but now we need to get some of the other main aspects going in. All right, all these cute little green pumpkins. Some come like a cream green, some come in a darker green. We're gonna need those in next. Here are the two really corally bushes we're putting in. Since this is such a pretty green, you can see how pretty it mixes with this coral. I've got a berry that has those colors, a little bit of greenery on the leaf. And this one has a pretty like berry cluster that we're going to use. That's going to be our color. Then for our greenery, we're going to use some everyday greenery here. We're going to use a eucalyptus and a fishtail fern. And then my favorite fern is this fern with a little bit of the darker center that has that natural look. And oh, you guys, we're going to be putting in a little bit of pampas too. That is that pampas we had custom made for us, and it's got these great, just this really good green. Really good green. All right, I'm just trimming this down to go ahead and cut this bush into sections. So I'm just pulling it down. It has the cutest little frond here in the center. I'm gonna see if I can pull it out. Oh, I can a little bit. Okay, cool. I got one with a wire, one without, but I will save these and put these in the middle too. And I'm gonna cut these down. So we're gonna open this up and start to spread this bush out and trim it. And what we're going to want to do is work in and out of the grapevine. So just like wreaths have transition points, we will have the same type of thing in a centerpiece where we'll have a transition of direction. And there can be multiples, and depending what centerpiece we're doing tonight, we're going to have all kinds of different transitions. But today it's occurring a little bit off center. This pumpkin is a little more right than left. So you know that your florals need to come out from there. This side to the right, this side to the left. So we're going to start with some of our longer sprays and get some of this fern kind of underneath here to kind of set a beautiful bed for these greenery to be laying on. So just like you would in a wreath, you're going to set your perimeter and start setting that with the fern. And I'm going to work it in through the grapevine. Anybody likes any tool. I'm telling you, there's no tool he doesn't like. Actually, if I want to con him into a project, I say con in the nicest way, but if I want to con him into something, all I have to do is propose that it would require a new tool purchase. All right, we've got our first two pieces in on the left. We're going to do the same thing on the right. And you can see I'm using the greenery, like I told you, we're going to use that to kind of hold down a little of this vine. We know it's secure in the middle, it's secure under the pumpkin, but now I'm working over that. And if you're new, you may never have heard me say this, but those of you who've been around, when I work on depth and dimension in my designs, it makes your work worth more money in the long run, okay? So we got two pieces on either side, and we're going to use triangle placement. So far we've got one long one short one, and we'll bring another short one to the back side. Do that same thing where I'm working it in and out of the grapevine. So some it'll go over, some it'll go under. So that means it grew here, the grapevine was there, and then they grew after, right? You know what technique's been working pretty good lately is if I say, well, you know, we're going to have to hire somebody to do that project. I mean, he comes out of nowhere to do it. I think it gets done. It gets done. So you can see if you're having some confusion about triangle placement, it means I'm just putting one piece in like the top of the triangle and the other two below here. So I'm making a triangle, okay? It's this way. I'm making it this way. But I'm doing that on either side. So we have a transition where things change direction, and then we're also thinking about placement when we put everybody in. Okay, we have 6 more pumpkins that kind of need to go in next, so they've got to get in here, okay? So let's get some more of our skewers. Ta-da! So I'm going to start to put these on. Instead of just putting these straight, give them a little bit of an angle, so that way when that pumpkin goes in, we can play with it a little bit. And I'll trim that down. And we should be able to get a couple out of each of these. These I got at a grocery store or something because they were so super thick. I might have even gotten them out of town. So when I find something unique, like, and they have them, they won't be as cheap as the Walmart ones, but they're a lot thicker. I usually go ahead and pick up a couple because they usually come in packs of several. So I'm going to take a big, a medium, and a small one and get them all ready to go in. Let's get these in first. And I'm going to kind of cluster them, and rather than put them all over, I'm going to let them do their own little cool cluster. I'm going to let them get in the twig game back here. So this one's going to go in. You see the dimension already with the twig going over that? All right. Let's put this one maybe down a little bit right here. Kind of angled a little bit differently. Pop it in there. And then I'm going to put this little baby one kind of stacked right there. If I have a long enough stem. I don't have a long enough stem, so let me get one a little longer. That's okay. We can save it for the other side. So I'm going to put that one right there. Okay, I made me a little cluster. So I've got a cluster here. I've got a big dynamic piece here. And then I'm going to have another cluster, but this one I'm going to move out from the pumpkin a little bit. We're going to put it down here. So I kind of have this shape forming that's not exactly the same coming through. I kind of prefer it to be a little bit different. So let's put the, oh no, don't get in the glue pot. Uh-oh. I lost the tip, my fern. It's the first casualty of the night. It could happen. We could have casualties. Okay, so I'm letting that go over the top. I'm going to keep this below it. Isn't this a fun green? Yes, this is kind of a Keleas style. This pretty green look. I love it. I have 2 over here, and I'm going to, instead of putting the third one there, I'm going to go a little bit further back with it, down, maybe down right here. So the nice thing about this whole pumpkin set is filling up a lot of real estate in the design. And it's allowing us to work that grapevine right around it. I love that. All right, let's go back here. Okay. All right, so there's going to be a different, we're going to have a whole flow going from the front. So far, we've got good spacing on our greenery. I'm happy with that. I'm ready to put some more fern in and kind of soften the whole look of everything we got going on. So one thing I think would be pretty is if we could work a little of this fern kind of cupping back on itself and kind of coming softly to either side. And we could do that a number of ways. Like I could have it work the back of it come up, but I think I'm just going to have this work softly on the front of the design. So we got to get it down into the foam here. I want to hear it crunch, and then I'm going to bring that up here, just kind of working in softly over the vine a little bit. Let's do that on either side. All right, fantastic. I'm pulling those centerpieces out if they'll come out. Ugh. Because I'm going to save those for somewhere special, those cute little pieces. We are going to be centerpiecing until the break of dawn, baby. Till the break of dawn. Keleas got it going on. No, that's a different song. That's not the right song.
I'm feeling good. All right, we're gonna cut all of these. Breaking it down. And now we're gonna work on the other side. I wanna get the cutest piece I have. The most neat one that's got the neat little, I don't know, I love ferns. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I love how they look so natural. So I'm going to take this one, and I want it to kind of come up a little bit on the body too. Kind of get it up there. Get it going on. This is my kind of color scheme. Really kind of natural. I have a design in mind. I usually do not make them first, unless the exception is if I'm under a lot of stress, or you know, if I just feel like, oh, this is something new that's so different, then I might make it first. But generally, I'm going to have a design in mind. I've got a curriculum together that Nicole and I put together for design school of what we want to make sure we're covering throughout the year. So we're setting you up for success when you're in the class. So you're learning the elements, they build on each other, the styles build on each other. And once I do that, then I can put the supplies together and kind of have a rough idea. It's just because I've had lots and lots of practice doing it. So I have this much fern left. And because this is my favorite, most delicate greenery, you'll see me do this a lot, guys. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to want some more to the foreground. I'm going to use some less delicate greenery now to fill in. But can you already see, if you are on a budget and you need to make some pieces that are on a budget for your craft show, for a gift, for your church, even for your own home, I could literally probably get with this fern and let this be so organic and beautiful. Okay, we're gonna step it up. I'm gonna add color. We're gonna add more texture. We're even gonna add pampas. But this is very pretty how it is. So there is a stopping point already. Fishtail fern is one of my favorite fillers because it can go any season. This is the lighter green. It is the lighter green. So I'm gonna take and push these up. Now I'm going to still cut this very long because I need to get into the foam and tuck these in all around. So I'm going to cut these as long as they'll go. You'll notice I've already pushed it up to kind of keep the cluster at the top. And we're going to use these to kind of extenuate the lines a little bit because I like how they hang and lay and they have all that great texture. So we're going to take and pop this under our pumpkin here, and we're going to let this kind of come out in the middle of the piece and let it come out and kind of spray over. That's my long one. My next one's going to go in shorter, so I'm going to cut that shorter, and we're going to put it in a little bit further back. So we're using piggyback placement that we would do in a wreath. We're using it here in this centerpiece where I'm putting two in together. I'm just doing it 2 separate steps, but there's a long one and a short one. Okay, we've got one on this end. We're going to do the same thing on the other end. So piggyback placement, long and a short right here. And if we want to do it all in one step, we can just trim them at the same time and take and swirl it in the glue. And then I'm going to put that in right in the middle. Okay, I've got a fern here, but I'm just going to let the fern be on top. You want to hear it crunch in. I want to hear both those pieces crunch in. So I've just extended the lines a little bit. I've made it longer with that one piece. And I'm going to try not to cook like I cooked the tip of my fern. All right, now we're going to use the same placement right here in the center, and this time I need it to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to trim it a little shorter, but one's longer, one's shorter. So it gives me, the reason I do that so it looks really nice and realistic and it doesn't look like you just shoved it in. Okay, anybody can shove it in. It takes time to work on your placement and your direction and your layering to get this look we're going to work on here. So I let that vine go on top. That is so pretty already. I love this. Okay, let's go to the back. We're going to put the last piece in the back. And I'm going to make it a little bit shorter as well. And we're going to put this kind of right underneath where we have the fern in there. So you notice we're working in the 4 quadrants on this arrangement. We've got the front and the back, which are working opposite directions to each other. This one's going this way. This one's going this way. And then we have the sides, which are both using triangle placement. We got both going on. Okay, see how pretty? It's looking good already. All right, our next step is we're going to add in our eucalyptus, and this is a like a nice bushy, you go with the same color tones. We're just going to put a little bit on each side to fill in a little, okay? Let's have this piece go right here. I'm going to use a big one and a small one, same technique. A little cluster, a short cluster, I'm going to cut them to the same size. Well, these are such different pumpkins, but they're so like understated. They don't like scream, I'm a different color. You know, they're just so neat. Okay, so I've got that little cluster of 2. Let's put another cluster of 2 on this side. I'll just turn it a little bit. And this time it'll need to be a little bit lower. It's not exactly the same place, but it's kind of similar. Okay, a long and a short. Let's see who's the longest and the shortest. I'm going to kind of mix these. It's a pretty, it's kind of an understated color palette. But, you know, there are people who are going to like that. All right, once again, I could just fill in with these last 2 pieces any holes and I could be done. If I wanted to keep it super neutral, it would be gorgeous. I'm getting ready to introduce color, and I'm going to hold this off to the side too. We're going to use these to fill up. So far I've saved some of the fern, I've saved some of the eucalyptus. I did use all of the fishtail in there. So we're going to come in now with our cool, and I don't even know what this is called. I forgot the name of it, but this is kind of a pretty coral color. It just screams when you put it in here, okay? It's just such a pretty combo. All right, here is that all broken down. We're going to start to use it in clusters. So you'll notice we've used everything in clusters in here. And I prefer to do it that way. So I'm going to go with a high-low combination, trim them down. I need the stems to be fairly long. And we're going to start to put these in, okay? So I'm going to push these in right here. I'm going to kind of keep them clustered. I want to make sure I hear it go into the foam. That's my first section. Now, if I use these in 2s, and I'm only going to use 1 bush, I got to think about how many sections that will give me. And that will give me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 6 clusters. So if I divide that equally, I'll have 3 per side, which is perfect because it allows me to use them in triangle placement. Okay, you're going to see you're going to build up triangles in your whole design as you're building. All right. So I'm going to take another 2 here, and we're going to try to put these on the end. I'm just going to trim them. And I'm going to put 1 and then the other because that way I won't burn myself. I want these kind of tight into the base. I don't want these shooting out. Just like little clusters. I love that. And let's go right beside it. All right, try to minimize those glue strings, guys, if you can. I hate to come back and do them. All right, 1, 2. We're going to go to the back with number 3. So visually from the top, I should see that triangle rocking. How's everybody doing? You guys are just coming in. Thanks for being here. I'm going to rotate this around. This one's going to kind of go back in the back here. I'm going to put the shorter one in first. Push it in. And I'm going to cut this one a little short. I'm going to use these to kind of fill in here. And get that looking good. Looking fine. How pretty. Okay, those 3 are in. You can see that triangle it's created, and it's great. Now let's go on the other side. Same thing. The only thing we have a little bit different is we have the pumpkins in a little bit different space. So we might have to do 1, 2, 3, okay? And we'll shift them around. But we want that. We don't want it to look matchy-matchy. That's not how I'm going to teach you to design. You can do things that way, but we want them to be a little more, give the perception they have a free form, even though they don't, right? All right, our first piece went in, and now I'm going to work 1 across right here at the tip, and then 1 tucked in over there. Okay, and let's put this one in right here behind the fern. These are so pretty. Okay, hopefully you can kind of see the triangle placement on there. It's pretty obvious. It's got even distribution. It looks great. And that introduced a little bit of color. A beautiful color. All right, I'm saving my berries because they're going to be like the fun crawly part around the design.
But I'm going to go ahead and put in my pampas and finish up with a little bit of greenery. Okay, the container's 1963. Y'all, and the size is on the description too, and the supply list. Y'all, we're one of the few people who has a clickable supply list for every project we do. So whether you buy from us or not, you can still go to that supply list and see everything on there anytime you want. So I'm going to use this kind of just on the inside next to the pumpkin. I'm just going to tuck it in first just to make sure we like the lines we're going to do. So we have transition here. We have it going left and right. And this little cluster kind of comes out right. So I'm going to try to see how this would look in just right here. I haven't glued it yet. Oh gosh, that would look great right there. I love the wispiness of that. And this is a darker green pampas. This is our custom one, and I love it because each of these is wired. So I don't have to just go with the flow, like they are wired. So if I want them to work more like a feather, I can, and I love that. So I'm going to give this some movement going out to the right, and we're going to go behind the pumpkin on the other side. I'm pretty confident, so I'm going to glue this one. Got to get up and put it in. Just going to kind of add a little bit of pizzazz, a little drama. Oh, pretty. Oh my gosh, I love this green. It's so pretty. Okay, and then the third one will come out in between the vine on the back. You know, my dream's always to have a physical shop. That's always been one of my dreams, and so I couldn't. It's not currently on my list to do, but exactly, that's something I want to do when Kaya's gone and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with myself, right? When she's all grown up. I'm gonna go in here, y'all. Pretty. Oh my gosh, I really like this. How wispy that is coming out of the twigs. All right, let me just trim this one down and we'll put it in the middle. It's really fun to add in a little bit of drama. You could do as much or as little as you want. We're gonna add a little bit more fern, kind of layering in with it. But I'm gonna leave these three long. All right, use those wires, manipulate it how you want. Add some drama. Now it's time for our berries. Oh, let me put a little more fern in. But you can see over time, the design changes a little, and you can do what you want. What do you do when you're done, but you have some areas to be covered? So in this particular design, I've got greenery left, so I'm not done yet. I've got greenery, and we've covered almost everything. So I'm going to come back in, and I want to layer a little greenery on top of my pampas. So I soften it a little bit in there. I'm going to put it in the clusters. But I would just use Spanish moss on this one, because if you have a hole, you could just chuck moss in. And you won't hardly need any. So I've got a little bit of holes in the back here that I would just put Spanish moss in. That's my favorite thing to use. All right, I'm gonna layer this one on top of the pampas just to give it a little bit of natural and bring that in. I'm gonna bring this twig in the middle, bring that up, and then I've got to put one more piece right here. Okay, oh, that's pretty. So that softened that up a little bit, kind of rebalanced it a little bit. I love the texture that's giving us. Okay, I'm going to come to the back here where I told you I've got that little bitty hole. It's a little higher. I'm going to put this one piece of eucalyptus there just to kind of cover up the mechanics. So we've done a really good job of getting everything kind of covered with what we've got going on. My last little step will be to add a little, oh, that looks so cute back there. And I'm going to put a little bit off this corner here. So do save a little bit of each greenery, because then you can use to fill it in. And then if you don't quite have enough, then you can just tuck a little Spanish moss in. You don't even have to do that on this one. You got it nice and full. All right, it's berry time. So we've got our coordinating pink, they're not pink, coral berries that go with the other clusters in there. So we're going to put a couple of these in, and I'm strictly going to use these to add movement and pop some color to the top of the design. So I want to cut these long as I can. So I'm going to cut them into two sections right now. So I'm going to cut this long and cut this long. Everything in here comes from our shop. even the containers. All right, I'm thinking about putting this one in here and letting it kind of crawl over that pumpkin. You see, oh my goodness. These kind of little touches are just bring that touch you need, okay? We'll put that one in, and then I'm gonna put the other one going the other way. So this one come out of the front and kind of tuck in this way and then go over the top. And I'm gonna layer that one a little bit in. So we got a little berry up and a little berry down, like coming in and going back around, continuing those lines of the grapevine, okay? So that's how I made the choices to put these berries there. Let me glue them in. And I think we've done it, you guys. The berries on the bomb.com. Now let me know if you have any questions. The berries pop that color, yes. So we needed those berries to kind of really finish it off. Like give it that, the cherry on top. That's what these are doing for us, literally. Make sure you hear it go into the foam and use that wire. That's why we cut those long. Kind of bring that in. But I think it turned out beautiful. I hope you guys liked it. Completely different color palette than we worked in all year, but gorgeous, beautiful, stunning.